Third party, David John Sponheim will be here shortly to talk with you all. Now, someone was talking earlier about how California, we all know, is suffering a major drought. And if you don't know, California is considered the nation's salad bowl because they're the largest producer of all kinds of food that we consume, including grapes, kiwi, olives, avocados, broccoli, tomatoes, spinach, tree nuts, including almonds, dairy. All of it, most of it, is grown in California because they have that wonderful sun all the time. But of course, you need water as well as sun to grow things. California is suffering a major drought right now in Santa Barbara, California. They are talking about bringing a desalination plant back online. They actually have a desalination plant they built already, and it was taken offline in 1991 because they were in the middle of a 7-year drought back then in the late 80s, early 90s. And now they're realizing we need to bring that desalination plant back up and running. It's not slated to actually be fully functional for another year and a half. However, soon Santa Barbara residents will be seeing that cost in their water bills, even including any extra fees for the high prices in waters. But they're going to be seeing a fee specifically related to the desalination project that they're putting in place. Here at America's Third Party, we actually have an idea for desalination, helping the nation's salad bowl. We actually thought of this back when the Delta smelts were an issue, when people were saying, the water is needed for the smelt, not just for growing lots of these wonderful things in California. And so that's called the Ocean Pipeline. And you can find out more about that. Let me just make sure my site is up. You can find out more about that idea at oceanpipeline.com. Also related to coolrock.com, but Ocean Pipeline really lays out the solution. We want to, let me actually pull up some information about it right now. So our idea, let me go right here. Here we go. I'm going to add a little bit of a screen region here. So our idea is actually to bring in salt water in through a pipeline using high density propylethylene, which is a dense plastic. The reason we want to go with plastic rather than, of course, any type of metal is we know that salt water can corrode metal, whereas it doesn't have that effect on this high density plastic. Then we actually pump the salt water inland and then put it, here's a mock-up of a pipeline idea, and then have it pump it into these desalination chambers. You can actually grow food inside these desalination chambers as well. And then also the salt water in the center would evaporate and create fresh water on two side troughs of these types of desalination chambers. You can actually it doesn't have to be a dome shape. It can be an A-frame shape, but those are some of the things that they can do. And so here's a side view of inside a desalination chamber. So again, you can find that out at oceanpipeline.com. Could it be a hexagon shape? Absolutely. The big thing that we want to make sure that we do, this is what we are looking into, is passive desalination. So using the energy of the sun to do it, because it's a lot of electricity to invest in desalination. So if you can do it with solar power rather than all the electricity, that would be a much better way. And so you want to make sure that the water that condenses on the outside of the dome is going to flow down into the sides. Yeah, so passive desalination is what we'd like to look into. You know what's really interesting is they've actually also, I think it's a major tech company that's also created this a film that is helpful with desalination. Yes, our passive desalination systems would use evaporation and condensation. And Badger Waxer believes that A-frame is the most efficient. I tend to agree with you, Badger Waxer, as well. A friend of ours did the mock-up on these pictures, so that's why it's but like a dome shape, but you can do either way. We've actually put one together, and when we like just the mock-up, and when we put one together it was in a dome shape. A device like that could be misused to assist our enemies. We are much better off without such technology. How could a device like this be misused to assist our enemies? Yes, you could use it with sewage waste as well as salt water. There are no, it's not that one, Don. Haha. There are these systems could have shelving in them and can grow food, and actually they do that kind of thing in Africa right now. An example of misuse would be to use the device. Are you still talking about the passive desalination system, or are you talking about something else, Warple Bite? Wow. We have a lot of things coming into our news, and yes, I do have somewhat of an overbite. That's okay. One link just came in from countercurrentnews.com. I don't always listen to all these, but a city is forcing a family to destroy a completely awesome cardboard fort. They built it for their toddlers, and it's in their front yard. The city of Ogden, Utah said the fort violates the city's codes related to waste materials in one's yard. Exactly. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'll just say that. Yes, reverse osmosis systems, and in Israel they use a lot of reverse osmosis as well. Let me look at this. I think it's trying to see who. I almost think it's that's not what I want. I'm trying to find the company that I was looking at. Maybe I'll look in news. I already have a real man. Thank you so much. He'll be joining us shortly. You're talking pipeline technology? Oh, if they use pipelines, then they could try to use the pipelines to send things into other countries. And I know David has talked about wanting to allow Palestine to have a pipeline in their country. But of course, if they did, it would simply be from the water into their land. There's a nanoporous material. graphene, that's what it is. And I'm not sure who makes graphene, but graphene, less than 1% of the water is drinkable. Let's see. Graphene technology is being used to desalinate water. Graphene, let's see. So graphene is very cool because it's large enough to allow water molecules to pass through, but it's small enough to stop salt molecules from traversing the mesh. So in essence, graphene is another way that would be kind of
excellent
passive desalination.
Yeah,
in a way.
It would be great. We could actually
much more energy efficient.
Filter water with graphene. Possibilities are enormous. Good evening.
Who made graphene? I forget.
Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed Martin made graphene.
Yes. And they've got some really good things going. I don't dislike companies like Lockheed Martin. I believe that we just need to get them to be more efficient and move forward in the 21st century. We just can't keep producing huge military jets that are cumbersome and not highly reactive, especially considering the new missile technology that is coming out. Scramjet capability, Mach 10 capability. Even our fastest jets won't be able to compete with this technology, and that's why I'm moving more toward UAV emphasis. Thank you. Welcome. Why would it be uncomfortable since I'm back? Okay. I got dressed quickly because I basically got out of the gaming show and got right into this. We do an early gaming show at the pre-show for a half an hour, and then we segue to this show at 6 o'clock, which we record on our nightly show at YouTube, which you can watch a day later if you want to. Yeah, I would agree. Lockheed Martin is more efficient than Boeing. I agree. But they still have a massive project called the F-35, which is funded up to 1.5 trillion. No, this is a chaps coat. This is a coat we bought. It's like a $200 coat we got on sale. I don't really get into the Armani look. I'm not into showy coats. Just, something comfortable that fits. If I unbanned all butt sniffer, it would be we'd be unleashing people like Gemma Mint and other people that would attack our show. Yes, the U.S. Marine Corps now has a lightweight water purification system and tactical water purification systems. They can be transported by Humvee and filters 125 U.S. gallons per hour. That's not bad. It's a good start. 125 per hour is not, but we need something even more aggressive that could work quicker, like graphene. But yeah, we should integrate graphene into all of our filter systems. That's what we need to be working on. Yeah, they have Skunkworks Productions, Lockheed Martin is. Believe me, I'm not an apologist for the military-industrial complex. I'm not happy with it at all. She's not Katie Holmes. No, Pro, that's absurd. I'm not some religious person. I have no religion. I've never forced Sarah into a religion. That's absurd. The analogy is absurd. And so the last woman you were with was 20 years older than you, and she was an Apache from Dulce, New Mexico. Did she know anything about the underground alleged operations where aliens are there? Do you believe in aliens, Blue Raven? I was curious. Yeah, there are a lot of people that believe in aliens. I don't necessarily believe in them because I had never seen an alien. Her son was on the History Channel. Cool. So aliens are the mythical demon of the past. Interesting. I'm not religious, that's what I mean. I believe in God. I have a personal relationship with the Lord, but I don't serve in a ritualistic way. And one of the nice things about Christianity is it offered people to have a personal relationship with the Lord. No, I'm not mocking the mentally ill. I'm asking you if you believe in aliens. You may think that's crazy, but it's not. There's a lot of people that do believe in it. You believe they're demons? Well, what if they're alien demons? And there's no such thing as demons, according to Recovering Perv. Recovering Perv, you've never been visited by the demon of lust? You have never felt the desire inside your loins, driven by the demonic power of the demon called lust? Yes, religion is man-made. I'm not saying you are or I am, but I'm saying we are all susceptible to lust. You love Ruby? I bet you do. Does she not want you back? Have you thought of bringing some sort of a gift? Some wampum or something that she would like a diamond ring? Of course, you're on a fixed income. What am I saying? Zot. Scissor Fight says U.S. thinks Russians hacked the White House. We had that story earlier. Do you want to talk about it? What are you watching right here?
I was looking at things with graphene.
Cool. You want to invest in graphene now. I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to buy into the graphene business. You're going to buy Lockheed Martin stock, Sarah? Oh, really?
No, I don't want to buy Lockheed Martin stock because then they'll think.
Can I go to another story?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we've got Find Alien Life Forms on MSN. NASA says we'll find alien life in 10 to 20 years. Coming from an MSN article just posted that we'll find alien life. You know, and there are scientific studies of the mathematical probability of aliens. And there's an accurate prediction when you look at the Drake equation. The Drake equation says that alien or in some other world there is a life form in the universe.
Aliens just mean not from this area. Yeah. My day was pretty good. I played with my TD Ameritrade account.
Yes, she did. Well, the Drake equation is based on very big extrapolations of what many people believe are infinite calculations. Well, let me ask you, if you think it's BS, ham, mash, potato, can you imagine what infinity is? Can you even comprehend what infinity is? David, don't you have 50 and some already? What are you talking about?
It's a way to trade stocks.
Ameritrade is an organization that sells online and you can buy and purchase stocks. I can imagine infinity, yes. I'm one of the few humans on Earth who can not only imagine it, but I live in an infinite state of possibilities. Yes. Thoughts on Ford is, unless I have some news that I'm missing right now, Ford is a very strong company in America and probably one of the ones we should be proud of at this point. Let's be clear. Johnny sounds kind of rusty there. How you doing, Johnny? What's up?
Which one do you use 644?
A couple questions for you.
Yeah.
Do you own or rent your house?
I own my house, so it's not like I rent. I don't have to pay a monthly payment, which I know is hurting a lot of you guys. So yeah, what's your question?
Yeah. Well, I was saying, that's the biggest expense anybody's going to have in their lifetime is a house.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
Yeah. So it's just from your working. I know you talk. Because you're like an advertising company, so you kind of paid off your house over the years.
No, I inherited my house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually moved my entire family up to this area from Los Angeles, 20 years ago, including my mother and father, and situated us in an area that we could afford. And through the process of taking care of them all the way to their dying day, they awarded me the inheritance, and here I am living in a nice, comfortable house, which all of you could own, a house like this, and all of you could easily be comfortable within a 10-year plan if we just had a plan. A 10-year plan of $500 a month payments could give you a house that would be a veritable place to live. I'm talking about a homestead renewal plan that will help save this nation and turn it into a brand new hope for everyone to have the dream of home ownership return. Now, one of those houses we look at is this one, because it's kind of a prototype of how any house could look with good vinyl siding or paint or a number of things and some landscaping. I mean, everyone would love to live in this kind of house. Would you like to live in this kind of house?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so there you have it. This is what we're shooting for. This is the homestead renewal plan, and in a nutshell, and we want to give everybody a chance to own houses that are fixed up like this. That's
So
true.
$60,000 on all the cost, right?
Well, you'll be paying $500 per month for 10 years, and you will own that house outright. Yes, but it will be $60,000 brought in, but it's really a $50,000 house if you want to pay cash. If you are a person who lucked out and won the lotto and you've never owned a house and you qualify and you wanted to give $50,000 to the U.S. government,
I could find some
be
property
great.
like that right now. No, easy to find.
I'm reading a lot on social media about everybody buying these little crab shacks, 500 square feet. Now that's the new big thing because of inflationary period and all types of things. Do you know about little houses?
Yes, little houses. I have heard quite a bit about little houses. In fact, one of our supporters showed us this house. You can kind of buy the materials for $6,000.
yeah, we can show you that link. You can, in fact, it's as low as $4,000. You can, if you can get a piece of property, and I know where you can get free property in Kansas.
But I don't know if Kansas would authorize that little house because Kansas really, their big thing is trying to get their contractors work.
Why don't you let Kansas sort it out? You know, I just want to give people hope, Sarah. I don't want to just run down their dreams and ruin their opportunities when they're trying to get hope here. You know, everybody wants to have a house, but here's a nice little cabin. You know, let Kansas sort this out. You could put this puppy out there in the middle of the frontier and have a nice complete house that's very easy to warm in the winter, and you know, a little bit of sweat and energy, it gets you a nice house like that. Let me give you guys a link to the good home plan I just sent you. I like that house. It's pretty cool. It's like, okay, I don't mean to rain on your parade, but you're a realist in that respect.
No,
but
I know.
Everyone wants to believe in having a house someday, you know?
Yeah, I believe in having a house someday too.
No, but I don't want to live in a ghetto, and I would rather help Detroit and Cincinnati start to improve and gentrify their community. You know, I would love to see the government come in.
But even the people,
go ahead.
Even the people renting their houses. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Dave.
It's okay.
Even the people that do have mortgages, you know, they really don't own their house. You know, the bank owns it.
I know.
But like you said your mortgage is paid off, so you know that's a great feeling.
It is huge.
You still pay taxes on it, but that not many people can say that. But
I know.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I know, and I'm very gifted
true.
and blessed, and I've always
is a
appreciated it.
blessing.
I want to share this dream with everybody in America and help get all those houses that are currently foreclosed on, there's like 11 million of them, fixed up, and get you guys to get a job doing that. And this way you could actually work in the Homestead Renewal Plan, which is going to be part of the HUD program, through the HOME program. It already exists. This program already exists. That's what makes me really kind of excited, because we're going to step right into Obama's shoes if we win the election, and then begin of getting houses bought up by the government at the government federal level by HUD with money that we already have in our budget, and we buy a block of these houses, and we put a large fence around them, like a 12-foot barbed wire fence if necessary, just to make sure that we don't have people looting the work we do. And we'll have a guard dog or a security guard on the premises. But the goal is to fix up all these houses in a block and make them secure and beautiful, and with nice little picket fences and backyards, the whole thing. Every dream every American has ever had of owning a house will begin to come true, and then we'll begin to improve neighborhoods like in Detroit and Cincinnati and across the nation. This could happen in every city simultaneously. But we start out small. We don't want to overthrow our target. We want to build because once the government starts flipping these houses, and in some cases people will be buying them outright, but for the most part, people will be financing directly with the government without any middlemen. We're eliminating all those Bank of America groups or Countrywide and all these individual mortgage companies that are constantly handling the paperwork and charging points on the sale. And you're getting leached. The American people are being leached by a class of crony capitalists that all they do is suck money off of the American people. Okay, somebody said, fix my tie. You know, I can pull it up a little bit, but really, this is a tie that needs to be rehung.
They're still flipping million right now.
Hey,
Yeah,
Dave, I got a question.
go ahead.
Has anyone ever told you you're delusional?
I want to, address that question. Thank you for that call. Yes, I have been told a couple times that running for president is delusional. Yes, people have told me that. And I asked them, well, how could running for president be delusional? I mean, it's the greatest dream of any American to help their country. How could it be delusional? I mean, how could anyone say that? You know, we all believe in this country, if we just focus, it will improve. But it can't possibly improve if we have the same crony capitalists trying to fix it and leeching every dollar of your taxes out of it to give to cronies that they got elected by, people that gave them money. So the best thing is an honest person running for office, and there's nothing delusional about that. I mean, an honest man running for president, wow, that's a dream come true for this nation. I'm perhaps your ripest fruit, ready to pick and ready to bring forth and show the American people how to fix this problem. We've got so much money grabbing going on in Washington that it's become insane, utterly insane. So yeah, I believe that what I'm doing is not only justified but righteous. I'm a beacon of hope and light for the American people, and I will continue doing this no matter what anyone says. All right.
Well, everyone here is here to grow, and there's no reason to encourage people to hurt themselves.
Right.
You own a house and you don't work and you're not on government assistance. That's good, Toki Smurf.
Beacon of light. That's right.
You're the planet whisperer. Thank you.
The U.S. just held long-range bomber drills over an area Russia wants. Yeah, we're constantly fanning the flame of aggression towards Russia. This is wrong. The tie's worse. How do you mean?
Some people
Thank you.
inherit. Yes.
Now, if you guys think it's a cakewalk to inherit a piece of property, it's not. I should give you a background on that, okay? I spent 25 years taking care of my mother and father, firsthand, daily, doing their shopping, cleaning their house, doing their cooking, literally doing their dishes for 25 years, picking up after them and going out and getting their pharmaceuticals, taking them to the hospital, nursing them back to health. It went on and on for 25 years. It's not like it was an easy task. It's not like this was a cakewalk. So don't think for a second that that's the case. Everything in life takes hard work. Everything. No matter how you look at it, you're not going to have a free ride in this world. Unless, of course, you're inheriting it with tons of wealth, like some of the greediest of people in this country who don't even think about money. They're so wealthy.
Yeah, some people they inherit and then they have to finish paying off the house. But you know what? That's better than paying off your parents' house. Might be better than trying to rent. And some people in the room are working full-time minimum wage jobs, have to pay hundreds of dollars a month in rent, can't even think about saving enough money for a place, something to buy because they're so busy working full-time at minimum wage.
No,
And
not
then
at
the
all.
price
No.
of gas and the price of food keeps going up and
Yeah,
up and
exactly,
up, and
it
it's
does,
like,
yeah.
how can they get by? It's tough. I feel for you, man.
If my folks
Poor
hadn't
woman.
passed a house on to me, I would have bought a piece of property, and I would have built a cozy cabin for under $6,000. I've talked to many people who've done it. I know I could do it. Sarah and I built a large shed together. We know we could do that. But if we had to, we could easily build somewhere in the middle of nowhere if we had to. You can get a piece of property for as low as $1,250, a decent-sized lot in Deming, New Mexico.
Yeah,
That's the
New
truth.
Mexico, Kansas,
Kansas.
Detroit, they're all cheaper places to live, but of course it's difficult living in those places, but it might be better to get by if you're living in a big city. It might be better to move to a small town.
So there are people making $180 a day at the Fukushima radiation plant. Yeah, that's a nice salary. It could also get, very hot. You can't work there very long.
I can bang a nail or two, Don. Even though David's better with the hammers. You're in Chicago. You got to get out of there. Yes, you do. I'm sorry, 1585, but
Well,
do you have a car?
there's some good places in Chicago. I mean, seriously.
There are some good places in Chicago, but if you're in downtown Chicago, I mean, I would say go west, young man. Go west.
$50,000 is manageable,
Or northwest.
even if you have a very small income. $50,000 is manageable. It's $500 per month
But you need to save some money before you go west.
over 10 years. Now, the reason why I say that is I'm building in an interest rate so that somebody who handles the $50,000 note will make some money. Okay? I'm not trying to gouge you on the $50,000, but when you do the math, $500 a month over 10 years, it comes out higher than $50,000. It's $60,000. So when the caller said it's $60,000, he's right. But that's the amount of money on the interest on the note. We're trying to make this real.
Well, 644, I don't want people to move to the northwest like where I live. I'm talking about northwest of Chicago is Michigan? No.
Look at this, folks.
Wyoming.
The state of Washington,
No. Yeah, either of those.
Washington state
North
government hoisted a
Michigan's
communist
northeast.
China national flag in a flagpole outside the state capitol in Olympia.
Why?
And they were flying it at the same height as the U.S. flag. This flag didn't last long until enraged patriots
Yeah.
pulled it down. What the hell's going on in Washington state? We live there. And I've seen this little Soviet Union basically tax and spend till we now have a $90 billion debt in the state of Washington. And like
It
many
was-
states, it's out of control. It was in honor of the meeting of the China ambassador, but it's still inappropriate to fly above our Olympia state capitol building.
Yeah.
No, I don't care.
I know I've been through there, but I forgot. The Wisconsin, thank you. I forgot Wisconsin. Go to Wisconsin. It's really rural. Well, actually, start by having your family take a day trip up there.
Okay, I'm a Pisces says he's a potential voter and I'm ignoring him. Could you go back and read I'm a Pisces while I take Bunny's
Dave,
call?
I'm a
What did he say? Hey, Bunny. Hi,
Are
Bunny.
you tonight?
I'm
No,
good.
I can't scroll up that far. Because it just.
Could you repeat what you asked? I'm a Pisces. It's because it's rolling pretty fast. Okay, Bunny. What's your question?
Well, I wanted to point out, it was a while back. I was around 24 when I had a friend that went to buy a house. It was a $42,000 house. It wasn't that great, but he was making the money to afford it. But the thing was, is he didn't have any money down for down payment.
Yeah.
He didn't save that. And so he went to buy it, and when he got the paperwork, he gave the paperwork for us to look over, the payments over the 30 years to pay on it.
Yeah.
And we started adding up the money. It came up to something like $129,000 he was paying throughout that because he had to pay the penalties and stuff for not having the 20% down.
Right. Yeah.
Which I posted in the room too that some people I knew at a place I was working at were renting a townhouse apartment for $800 for a two-bedroom townhouse when I knew people were making $500 house payments. I'm like, what's... I don't know the mindset of people that don't understand some of the stuff. Like, I know people that put more money into their cars than even owning a house or renting a house and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the people I know that hurry up, that get out of high school and go into college and start making payments on a house and stuff like that, once they get that house payment, paid off as soon as they could and everything else, they're rolling in extra money.
Yeah, it's all about paying off the house as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. So.
And always buy a house like smaller is better. Don't, like, if you're just a couple and you're thinking, one day we're gonna have a kid and all this, don't buy a house for the two kids and the dog and all that. Buy a small house. Buy the smallest house that's like smaller than you want, because then you can always pay that off and buy a bigger one.
I woke up this day and I said, Sarah,
Exactly.
there's the drought in California. Does that mean that the prices of our houses are going to go up here in Washington? And it's probably true. I think you're going to see prices go down in California rather soon. which is kind of, expected because I believe that LA has always been overpriced, and same with San Francisco and San Diego.
Okay, Pisces was mentioning that there are half of the folks in the U.S. with an IQ below 100. They're never going to be a functioning part of the tech culture.
Right.
And see, one of the other things that kind of really just...
Yes, okay, good question.
The grasp of mindset, I don't understand that people I know that make the money that, like you said, when you're first buying your first house, people should have the mindset that it should be a starter house, a home.
Yeah.
Something big and everything else, because there's so many people too that go and buy a house and they have no extra money saved.
Yeah.
And they buy their first house and they have no extra money saved. There's a lot of things that happen during that time that you need money for.
Okay.
Car breaking down. I mean, various different things that.
Oh, and when you buy a house, you're responsible for all the repairs.
Yeah.
And drain your bank account of that backup reserve money, lose your job. I mean, right after. I mean, there's just so many different stories I hear.
Yeah.
Recently, a couple years back, one of the pastors that I knew was trying to get some affordable new houses built in an area for people to afford, and that's one of the things is they don't have affordable starter homes around here, like a 2-bedroom with the basement, washer and dryer, and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these smaller houses that are in some of these communities around where I live, like my ex-girlfriend lives in, and she has a 2-bedroom house, but it has no laundry facilities. Are nice size and everything. She paid it all off. She got it for around $20,000.
Wow, 20,000. Where is that?
Nope. What?
Where's a house for 20,000? Because where I live, there's no houses for 20,000. You can't even get an acre of land for $20,000 where I live.
Really? I didn't know that was the case.
Indiana. Even though they say the cost of living is cheaper here, the jobs don't pay that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like most of the jobs around here start off at $9 an hour. And that's why I didn't understand when the stock market crashed and housing crashed too along with it, because during the Clinton, he gave out the loans for anybody. That's why I was telling people that you seen those ads that no job, no credit, no problem.
Baltimore.
And the predatory loan practices from banks came out and they were loaning anybody. I was watching TV programs. They were sitting there showing people that were making $3,000 a month house payment.
Wow.
Yeah.
They weren't making that much. It was like one of them was a bus driver. It's like, they're not making that much as a bus driver a city bus driver to make that much. That's why I was wondering why a lot of them they had their houses foreclosed on because of that. I was like, wow, that's...
All right.
Even if you go by the government standards of what you should be putting money towards, like, it's supposed to be something like 30...
this house is still for sale for
or less should be all for your home, for your rent, mortgage, whatever, your utilities and everything added in there, but no one goes by those figures or try to figure them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just try to wing it.
You're going to get a mobile home for $20,000 in our area, or a house that's dilapidated. There's one right here that's starting at $20,000.
That's starting because it's on auction.com. It's always
you always see the auctions
there.
there.
Always on auction.com, and it's always never going to be that price.
$20,000.
Yeah,
it's not bad. They fixed up the inside. Yeah. Well, is you get a decent kitchen? Look at that. It's not that bad.
Yeah, but it's not really 20,000. You have to count on that being 50,000.
Yeah. Okay, I'll count on it being 50,000. All right. We got a lot of things to talk about. People in the room want to address issues, and I'm sure you can stay on the line, but we want to talk about how we can make your dream come true. And I came up with these two concepts with Sarah in our book, Baseline Plus and Back to the Basics. Baseline Plus is basically a chance for everybody. I am Pisces wants to. I know, always check for black mold. I agree. Needs some fixing for sure. I am Pisces wants to know what the average person is going to do in the coming years. Well, I believe that we have a problem with homelessness that is not being addressed by Obama and never did by the Democrats. The homelessness problem is now twice as bad as it was under Bush. So we have a plan to get people a warm place to live. We'll start with the initial plan, which is to get 10 cities across the nation ready to go with modern conveniences and Wi-Fi hookups and charging centers so people can actually get their life together. They even have some showers with recycled water. That's the starting point. And then we go to the homestead renewal plan, which is the next step, which is to create and fix up houses, renovate them, and get them out there in the market for affordable prices, even if we have to flip them for less than $50,000. Hey, how you doing, Gary? What's the question?
Hey, how you doing? I was calling. I wanted to know that do you have a running mate?
Yes.
Is that Sarah? I'm new. I've never been on your show before.
Sarah is my running mate right now. We haven't
Unless
had
you
any
find
changes.
someone better.
Unless I find someone better, or that somebody importance wants to join forces with us. But right now, it's Sarah and I running.
Oh, very good. Okay, and what's your stance on abortion?
Well, personally, I don't want a woman to have an abortion, but I understand Roe v. Wade's interpretation, and I know that women have the right to choose, so I recognize that. But I have a very progressive approach toward this, and you may not like the word progressive, but if you're a right-to-lifer, you may like it. I want to instigate a first trimester rule, if we can.
And I always say I'm pro-prevention and pro-education. I'm in favor of anything to prevent an unwanted pregnancy in the first place, including paying for people to, including sterilization and some kind of health care plan. And I'm in favor of educating a woman about all of her options, especially the option of adoption, that she can put up her child for adoption, but also include the father of the child in that decision-making process. She should have a conversation, because the person who fathered the child may say, hey, if you can just carry the child for 9 months, I'll be willing to raise it and you can sign off on your parental rights. Or also her parents or his parents might be willing to do that. So I think she needs to be talked to about those decisions before ultimately it is her decision, but I think she needs to, I'd almost be willing to say she should sign a little waiver that said, I understand all of these decisions.
I personally think the first trimester...
I appreciate the response.
Sure.
Go ahead. I appreciate the response. Going back a little bit, we were talking about housing. What do you think a good percentage of your salary should spend on a house, and is that before or after taxes? I've seen some people in the chat room.
I'd like to see 20% max. I'd like to see 20% max. Back in the days, in the 50s and 60s, 20% of people's salaries was the most they paid on their house. Right now, people are spending like 50% on their house, mortgage or rent.
I would say,
correct?
That's gross, yeah. But 20%, if you're a wage earner, your wages and compensation,
so
20% of your
net,
maybe 20 or 25% of your net. It really doesn't matter at this point. We aren't even near that. We're so far off track. People are unable to buy houses. The mortgage industry has kept that impossibility alive. And that's because they want to make money on every single transaction. And they've been the ones standing in the way. Even Obama's HAMP program failed because of the mortgage companies. They weren't able to help people.
Before me, he was exactly right. You had bus drivers buying houses for $3,000-$4,000.
Really?
Going back to Sarah, I know that you said you were for the women's rights on. Well, let me ask you: are you for anal, Sarah?
Anal? It doesn't rain in. Does it rain in your area? I don't know. I'm not sure what part of the country you're from, but if you're encountering a lot of rain, I can understand how you'd be wanting to get away from that area.
One of the things, I'm a Pisces, is really talking about, we're moving away. Many jobs are moving overseas, and now we have this huge influx. The jobs that are out there are either technical or there's menial jobs. There's a lot of minimum wage jobs, and the people with lower IQs can't necessarily do all of the high-end technical jobs. And so how do we account for all of this employment issues that are going forward in the future? And really, here at America's Third Party, we believe that the way is to focus on housing, because if we can get that cost of living down for people, then they're not going to need to work so hard. If everyone did have a house where they were just paying taxes on it and were able to pay it off and pay off a mortgage and get to the point where they were just paying taxes, they would not need to work as much or as hard as they're doing currently.
We have another caller. Maybe that's the same caller. He was suffering from some rain in Spain.
All of California is currently on water restriction.
Okay, Willie, what's your question? Willie, how you doing? What's going on?
No, this is Johnny.
Johnny.
Hi,
How
Johnny.
you doing, Dave?
Johnny, yeah, sorry, I missed you.
How you doing?
Okay.
20% on a house payment.
Yeah. 20% of your income, man.
That seems more. What do you think the average is today in this world?
50%.
50%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping that's a high estimate.
Yeah, I know people who make
I don't know.
$6,000 a month and they pay $3,000 on a mortgage. I know people who make $1,000 a month and pay $500 on the apartment. All right. Take a chance on America Now. Call in and join the Alternative Family CHA third party movement. Thanks, 2518. That's our number, by the way, guys. It's 707 your ATP. Yeah, so is that enough for you? 20%? What is your income? What is your, if you don't mind me asking, what is your income? How much you'd afford a month? What's your take? What are you willing to pay per month? Let's just say that.
I make $16,000 a year, and I actually share a house with my couple roommates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, I struggle doing that. You know, I struggle doing that.
I know you do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah. I struggle doing that.
I know. Well, your payment level
I
should be
think
no
back
more than.
when Obama got elected. I saw this one girl on TV. She started crying and said, "Oh, you know, now I'm gonna be able to buy a house." And I really didn't. I mean, that was very stupid of, thing for her to say. I really didn't understand that. But I mean, I can't even afford the house I live in. And I live with three roommates. I mean, I can't. I'm eating ramen noodles.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
And that's good for me. I'm blessed, but I mean, I just don't understand how everybody else does it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad news.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to afford more than maybe $500 at the most per month, if you could even do that. I mean, maybe like $300 or $400 would be enough. Maybe we could get you into a nice house that would be in a lower cost area, but it's still one that we could fix up. I think the maximum price on these houses should be $50,000 myself, in lieu of what's happening around the country.
I know that's not the case.
It's not the case, but
currently.
it should
I
be.
wish it was, though. I wish, it's just ridiculous to me, because I had been looking at housing just only because it's near and dear to my heart. Not that I need a house to live in, fortunately, since I'm with David, but it's like the cost of housing is just so ridiculous. And I hope,
And electricity bill, water bill, cable bill. We don't even have cable.
I know. We don't have
We
it
have
either.
Netflix that we share 3 ways between us. It's only $7.95 a month, but we all throw in a couple bucks, and we have Skype.
yeah.
We got one cell phone in the house that we share. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. They come out, doing this, doing that, doing this. And big shout out to businessman. I really like the show. And I just wanted to see y'all. What's your prediction on housing prices in the future? You think it go down or up?
Down.
I hope it's going to go down. It all depends on where you're living. I mean, if the population in your area is going up, then the price of housing is going to go up. Just like David said, where we live, we're fortunate to have a good supply of water and a moderate climate. And so a lot of people are probably going to move to an area like this. So our prices will probably go up. In places, though, like California or rural areas, the prices will probably go down. So I think a lot of it does depend on the area that you're living in. And I would suggest to you, I mean, I know you're probably not even able to save any money at the position that you're in. That's probably the case, right?
I can't. I got a few jelly beans and chicken sandwiches that I hold on to for like a rainy day, but I mean that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I hear you. Well, if you could find a wholesale food supply store in your area, that's the way to go. I mean, we buy in bulk. One of the only ways we survive and are able to save money in this tough economy. Sarah can at least, is to buy a really low cost food and stock them up, and put them in the closet. Now,
And then I would suggest as well, it's like, you're here on the internet, at least able to do that, is maybe set aside 2 hours a week to start with, of like, hey, I'm going to start looking for other opportunities. Even if you're working full time, I'm going to start looking for other jobs out there so that you don't lose your current job, but you can maybe find something else that pays a little bit better.
okay, somebody's giving tarot readings in Seattle right now. Wow, just to make ends meet.
I agree with that. I mean, I can't afford to go to the wholesale. They charge it. I know it's a better bargain, but I mean, they charge it. You pay a little bit more. I mean, we ain't got money like that. I mean, every now and then when the watermelon go on sale, I mean, me and my boys, we go down there and stock up on the watermelon, and we'll fill up the closet with that. But other than that, I mean, it's real hard.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I didn't know watermelon had a storage life. I didn't know that watermelon had a storage life in a closet, man. It's going to get kind of moldy.
You know what I mean, like pantry.
Yeah, like keep it in a cool place.
Okay,
You can keep
great.
it in a cool place for like.
I mean, be honest with you, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, I love watermelon so much. I got one underneath my bed because I got a roommate that loves to steal that stuff. But
Okay,
anyway,
then.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying.
All right. $1 of fast food. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I don't eat fast food. I mean, unless it's a chicken sandwich. I mean, we love chicken. I mean, but we like Popeyes. You ever hear that commercial?
yeah, I know. We got a political discussion going here. I'm going to drop out of the call.
Gotta go,
Thank you for calling, man. I appreciate it. I'd love to talk about fast food too, but I'm going to move on to another subject. Okay?
All right, thanks for
Guys,
calling,
thanks for
and
calling.
I wish you better luck.
Yeah, that's okay. I got to go now.
Start talking about food. I was talking about
I know.
talking
But
about the house. Y'all start talking about food.
I know, and I brought it up, and it's my fault. Yeah, I know. I got you on. Did I get you salivating? Were you thinking about food, like really tasty food? What's your favorite food? If you had unlimited money, what would be your ideal food?
Chicken, watermelon, and as far as drink, Kool-Aid.
All right. Thank you so much for your opinion. I'll take care, man. Okay. Yeah. Some people have different kinds of favorites. My favorite kind of food is lobster. I'll admit it, and I don't ever eat it. I've never had more than a few lobsters in my life, and I do love it. Can't help it. So anyway, yeah, I love lobster, but it's got to be tender. And every time I've cooked it, I've always miscooked it. So I undercooked it last time, and Sarah was going, "Well, why is this so rubbery?" It's like, well, you got to overcook it a little bit, So I know it seemed really cryptic and bizarre, and it was just strange. It didn't sound quite normal. But hey, I'm glad he talked to us. At least he called.
Bike.
Thanks for calling. Solar Bike is a very real thing coming up on our gadget show tomorrow.
Come in.
Or Thursday.
Have me come in to read it, just
Oh, come on in. You can. Come
Whenever you want.
I'm cooking
In the
right
future,
now.
whenever, come on in. We have a 3-hour
It'll take
show.
another 10 minutes to cook.
No hurry. No, take your time. Yeah, Connie's welcome. People want to talk to you, Connie. They're basically bored with this conversation, and we want to move on. I like porterhouses. I used to get a porterhouse steak for $1.99 in California at Norm's restaurant with all the fixings. I mean, I remember back in the day, man, we could have a porterhouse steak for $1.99 with potato, vegetable, side salad, a bun, and a dessert. It was unbelievable.
We're beginning to think you're right, Raging Grover. Thank
Norm's
you.
restaurant. Shout out to the porterhouse, and shout out to the New York steak too, all of you. Okay, but now the price of meat is absolutely through the roof. So the truth tonight is they are gouging us. They are absolutely gouging us on the price of food right now, and it's not getting any better. You used to get 4 pounds of ground beef for $1. I'm a Pisces. Check that out, man. Shout out to New York. Yeah. Well, you got to go to California to have a Noam's restaurant. Yeah. No, my sister is visiting right now. It's all fun. A pound of beef was like, or is like $6 now. Yeah, you're right. Dan, we got a Dan caller. These people change voices, but they all call our show. So go ahead. What's the question, man? Dan.
Hey, Dave, it's Dan. No, I just heard you guys giving a bunch of shout-outs. I wanted to give a shout-out, to all my Negroes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to shout them out, too. Everyone should be shouted out. Shout out to everybody. We
I think
are
that's
everybody.
wonderful. 704-3. Congratulations. What do you do?
Yeah.
You're an inspiration to both myself
I don't make any
and
money,
to many
so
people in the room.
you could be working at Walmart and make more money than me. So you wouldn't have to be doing much with a grade 9 education to make more money than me. I don't believe in making money.
Oh, you're in transportation?
I'm dedicated.
Driving a truck?
I've dedicated my life to poverty.
That's tough work.
No, I don't trust the Fukushima-laden
be
waters
very proud of
outside
yourself.
our house. They just found radiation in the shores of Vancouver. It's a serious situation going on with radiation being found. Let's see if I can go back to that. Wow.
He inherited a lot 15211.
I guess my article on radiation disappeared. Wow. Okay, so much for that.
There are some people that are lonely but have plenty of money. You bought a 20-pound turkey for $1 a pound on sale, cooked it, you poured it in Ziploc bags with gravy and stuffing, you froze it. That is fantastic, Badger Waxer. Then whenever you want a little turkey dinner, you can pull out those Ziploc bags and there you go.
Dave, there are people so lonely right now that all they have is money. The Riddler 187. Yeah, I know. There are a lot of people with tons of money and no one to share it with. It's true. Someone ought to come up with a website where they can share their money with people. You know? Like buy a friend, something like that. David, do you believe in the Illuminati? I do believe they exist in some fashion or another. I believe there's a shadow government with tons of money.
I agree with you.
Somewhere in the world. Yeah. You bought candy today? Shout out to the radiation in Vancouver, everybody. Vancouver radiation they've definitely found, Vancouver Island has found radiation from Fukushima.
And you're able to make money that way, 5441? Interesting.
I don't live in Chicago.
Don't know about Mount Weather, except on that there's a show about it.
John, how are you? What's going on, man? What's happening?
Great, Dave. How you doing? Just wondering, have you seen the article that came out about Russians hacking the White House and gathering all Obama's information?
Yes. Yeah, we found that out earlier. They've hacked in and they've admitted it. And I wish I had been here earlier, but gosh, everything was completely destroyed on my board here, so I don't have any control over what's happening. So let me go to the story. Russia's hacked the White House. There we go.
Okay,
How the U.S. thinks Russians hacked the White House. A story from CNN. Well, being CNN, it's a trusted CIA source for information. So let's see. How the U.S. thinks Russians hacked the White House. Russians hackers behind the damaging cyber intrusion in the State Department in recent months used that perch to penetrate sensitive parts of the White House computer system, according to U.S. officials briefed on the investigation.
Sensitive parts of the White House email system. They could even see the president's schedule, the non-public parts of it in real time.
Wait a second. So
to all of this in a clever way through the State Department.
All right, so they saw this president's schedule where he had a trip to the golf course, a trip down to the brewery in the White House to pick up a light beer and a dark beer, and a trip back up to the teleprompter. So the Russians know the president's schedule. They know it up and down.
You could just buy and press on veneers, but he does have to have a couple teeth to anchor to 9044, so maybe he doesn't. Maybe that would.
You need a brother.
All these presidents, all they do is play golf. Are you a golfer, Dave?
No, I don't play
David's
golf.
Never
I played golf
How
once,
about anyone?
and I got a hole-in-one.
Out there right now.
Nice.
Not just any tow truck will do. Okay. All right, cool.
It's really. We used to be, the number one country in regards to this stuff, and now it seems like everyone's hacking in our stuff, stealing our information, stealing our blueprints over there at Boeing and so on. I mean, did you see the 2020 story about the silver and the with the Chinese about how they're getting they control the silver and market. Did you read that?
Yeah, I did, but
there?
the Chinese are also unaware of their supply of gold that's been tainted with platinum and other
There you go. That's
ingredients.
what it was,
So yeah, there's a lot of gold that's been tainted and sold as gold. It's actually gold plated. It occurred back in the 2000 era, and China is unaware of how much of their gold is actually tainted. I don't think they can go back and get an exchange on it, but I think China's dealing with a lot of false impressions about their silver and gold, which may very well come to pass as a kind of a sad truth about China. And they've leveraged a lot of their investment in American dollars too. So we're all interconnected here. Well, platinum is worth.
Yeah.
It's not platinum. It's another metal, not just gold. Hang on. Gold. It has the same specific density as
Tungsten.
tungsten.
Do they
Tungsten,
stand on the
thank you.
street
Thank you.
and with signs, "We'll buy gold and silver right now"? I mean,
Gold-plated
for
tungsten.
the last 2 years, I've been seeing a lot of that, and I've never seen that before.
Correct.
Yes, there are a lot of places that say "Build by gold."
Yeah, buy gold, sell your youngest born, or whatever. Everybody's into money. I started the show off with the big money symbol tonight, and I wanted everyone to know what's really behind everything that's going on in our world today, which is the truth. And it's money. Everything's about money. So how do I get you guys some money? How do I get you $1,000 in a small micro loan to get started with our Back to the Basics plan? We can do that. We get you $1,000 to, get a small business going. And if you pay it back within 6 months at $40 interest, you get another $1,000. If you pay it back in 2 weeks with $40 extra interest, we'll give you another $1,000. So it's a micro loan program to stimulate American opportunity. Obama didn't do anything like this.
That's pretty cool. Badger Waxer's avatar.
But part of my ignorance on the loan, that sounds like a great idea, and I like the $40. But how much can $1,000 to open up a business is not going to really help.
Excuse me. Wait a second. Whoa. Let's toggle back here. You're living in La La Land where you think you'd love that. Evil Enmity would love that. You're living in La La Land where you think 1,000 is squat. I live in the world of $1,000 is hard earned, and every single cent of it has to go somewhere that'll bring a return on investment. Now, what if you bought an electric lawnmower for $299 with 2 battery packs, and you went around your town saying, "Hey, I'll do your lawn for $25 with no fuel blowing in your face."
Enmity says you can start a business for way less than $1,000.
Oh yeah.
But what about, to start a small bit, I get what you're saying, but the biggest cost is moving that stuff around. And I'm not talking about the gas, I'm just talking about the trailer and the van.
You can also start locally. No, you can push a mower.
The licenses that you have to apply and the insurance. That
you're jumping ahead of yourself. No, you're getting ahead of yourself. You see, you're a kind of guy who's going to want to invest heavily. That's the way to lose a business. The best way to do this is to actually start small and build your way up. So you do your local houses in your area where you can push the mower to that location. Eventually, you'll get enough money to buy a car or a truck. It starts small. Don't ever jump ahead of yourself in business. The first rule of business is do not take on debt. First rule of business. Other than that $1,000 debt, which you have 6 months to pay back with a $40 interest, if you don't pay that $1,000 back, we won't give you another loan. You might even want to take that money and run, and there are a lot of people that will do that. But at least we're funding startups in America, and we're helping the retail economy. That's what Obama didn't do. He didn't come up with any plan. And he never wanted to get American jobs. He actually was talked about that. The Great Society did not work because LBJ was behind it, a guy who was completely corrupt and didn't understand the plight of the common man. Lyndon B. Johnson could care less about the Great Society. He was just doing it for promoting his campaign. The guy was all show, no go.
That's a question you need to ask a lawyer, 7043. I'm not a lawyer.
Have you ever read the book, The 48th Law?
The 48th Law? No.
Hi, Ghana. There's probably a lot of laws out there.
Is it a fiction or nonfiction?
LBJ promoted war, right? Exactly.
The 48 Laws of Power. Have you ever read that?
No.
Oh. Well, Dave and Sarah, look it up tonight. the 48 Laws of Power, it's a very popular book. It's the number one most read book in prisons, which doesn't say much, but it's also the number one most read by politicians and also famous people. But it's very interesting. I encourage you to just not read the book, but just go through the 48 laws and the description online. You'll get a kick out of it. You'll like it.
Okay.
And because a couple of the things that you just mentioned are part of the 48 laws.
Okay, cool.
You know, but you know, I'd go ahead and just read that if you have a moment, just so I can get your insight on it on another night.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody said we're having a terrible connection on Vaughn. DT Laura is saying we are broadcasting on YouTube. Oh, and we're also broadcasting on Twitch. I'm going to pull off Twitch. Good night, Twitch. I'm going to bring up a broadcast on Ustream.
Right.
And Ustream is the one. Sarah will give you the link to the Ustream. Dave, this guy is suspicious. Okay, busy. Somebody says he might drop the word bomb on us at any time. Okay, David, LBJ aside, we have spent trillions on this program and continue to do so.
I'll hang up with you right now, but can you please, because you look up a lot of stuff online, can you please look up the 48
yes.
Laws and just go over a few, please? Okay, y'all have a great night. Thanks, bye.
You too. We'll look it up right now. Thank you. All right, yeah. So Kwame is in here from Ghana. What's happening, my man? Kwame is a person who's interested in knowing about American politics and where we're going. We are less of an interventionist in other countries. Our approach will not be to start wars like the Democrats and Republicans. Our approach will not to be seeding economic hits on countries like the Democrats and Republicans. We won't be answering to the New World Order like the Democrats and Republicans. We won't be doing their bidding. We will be answering to the World Bank. Whenever they say jump, we won't say how high. We will say, well, if we want to jump, we'll jump. But we're not going to do what you tell us to do. You're voting for an independent political movement that will be completely separated from the ties that the two parties seem to be connected to. And we're going to make bylaws within our party to insulate us from any danger of people within our party doing payback for donations. We don't want that. Sarah is my co-host. Connie will be in a little while. She's my sister who wants to talk about politics. She's very interested in the blogs and the blogosphere and all the different sites that talk about weird things that are going on in the world and go deep into it. So she's got a lot of knowledge that we'll be drawing from. There's it. Carter fan has it right there, yeah. 48 Laws of Power might be a good book to take a look at. I'm just not a big psychology buff. Yeah, I'm not a big psychology buff. I consider psychology junk science.
Well, I would recommend to everybody what I'm reading right now, which is...
Hang on, we got a real scumbag here who doesn't understand what we're doing. We're going to take you out of the show, okie dokie, because you absolutely don't comprehend at all what we're doing. You just don't qualify for even the attendance at our show. Thank you.
I'm reading or listening to on...
Wow. You're reading James...
I'm doing
Allen.
James Allen and Wallace D. Wattles.
Yep.
I personally like Wallace D. Wattles.
Well, the pioneers of self-help she's listening to for free. Now, somebody said their sister's a psychologist and she thinks she knows everything about everyone. You know, they've done studies on psychologists that show that psychologists tend to be very emotionally disturbed. They tend to be going into psychology because they've got a lot of personal problems and they're trying to figure out what's going on in their head. So by and large, most psychologists are psychos. By and large. You could almost expect that. Thank you. Hi there, David. Sarah, hi. I mean, I've never met a psychologist I really liked. You know? I've never met one that really cared. I tend to believe that most of them are just there for a paycheck. Yeah. So when you look at people who reject the common belief that psychology will answer all your problems, you have to ask them, have you ever cured psychosis? And not one of them could say that they have. Not one psychologist in the history of psychology has cured psychosis. They haven't even minimized it. All they can do is drug you into a stupor where you no longer have hallucinations. That's all they can do. They're only for a paycheck, that's right. It's just a suck-ass job designed to peg people and label people and put people away. We're building a prison system outside of our prison system called our mental health crisis units. And it's ironic that all we can do is label and stick people away. We don't solve their problems. But in America, we need something like this. The Back to the Basics plan and Baseline Plus. And Back to the Basics basically deals with housing, low-cost electricity, available food, and affordable food.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Okay, what's your question? Hi, caller. I don't know who you are, but whatever.
Hey, did you see have you ever owned an electric lawnmower?
Yes.
I have a battery-operated lawnmower, a Ryobi, that we paid $2.99 for on sale, and I use electric batteries, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's fun. I mean, it's a joy to mow my yard. I actually look forward to it because I'm not breathing fumes while I'm doing it. And you can actually charge those puppies up at night. You have about 5 battery packs. You could do 3 homes in a day and make $75. Thank you for being voting for me.
And you do your own lawn, correct?
I do. I'm a lawn guy. I mow the lawn. That's French for cut the grass.
But do you really think that in today's economy, a lot of people can afford to pay people to do their lawn?
No, they can't. That's why I'm recommending you get a rechargeable lawnmower. They're awesome. Brand new technology. That's just. Hang on. I lost your call. I'm sorry. Whenever you talk loud, my finger reacts. Some sort of I hit the hang up button because I'm gun shy that somebody's going to say something negative about Sarah, and I'm a little quick on the trigger. Sorry to knock you off there. No, I don't think you need to have other people, illegal aliens, mow your lawn. You know, in Pyongyang, hang on, I'm going to move your cursor here. In Pyongyang, people mow the lawn with scissors. Did you know that? They use scissors to cut the lawn.
I know they do. It's pretty amazing. They don't have a lawnmower.
Yeah, let me show you what they do in North Korea. Okay, and you want to say you want to hire an illegal. Check out this.
This is how they mow the lawn in North Korea.
These are North Koreans cutting the grass with a scissors. Everyone's given a scissors. What do you mean, how can you be president if you can't accept criticism? I love criticism. I bring it on all the time. I'm welcoming it on a nightly basis. Do I have to accept it? No, I love it. Of course, if I love something, I must accept it, I guess. But how would you like to be cutting the lawn in the middle of Pyongyang with scissors? All right. Well, I guess you're manscaping right now. Okay. Any other questions?
No, but I don't like.
I hang up on anyone? No, that's not true. No, I'm welcoming your disagreements. I would love for somebody to give me an argument right now. Just because you're incredibly attracted to me doesn't make me gay. It is real. No, that is real. Can you not see? What's wrong with you? Yeah, so you're lucky you're not cutting grass with scissors right now on your prayer bones. Well, if the world's going to end in 2022, then you better start having some fun. I don't know about you, but it looks like you're kind of losing out on the big chance to make fun and have fun. Actually, do you not accept it and ignore your criticism? I'm not ignoring criticism. I've taken all the healthy criticism I can about my hair. Does my hair look bad tonight?
No, your hair looks perfect.
Thank you. So I responded to the criticism I had about my hair. You want to die? Why? Do you know what the punishment for death is? No longer living. Thank you.
I know, you're here for a reason. You're here to grow. You're here to help other people.
Well, I think I have good hair. Thank you. Well, people tell me I have a wig or something. It's ridiculous. I get so much crap about my hair. It's unreal.
Focus on the people that say...
Yeah, Leroy, I hung up on him. I hung up on Leroy. Go ahead, Leroy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hang up on you. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Now, what I wanted to ask, you talked about the lawnmower. Do you believe in hybrid and battery?
Yeah, totally. I've got 2 hybrids.
run cars?
Absolutely. I have two hybrids. I bought a hybrid recently for Sarah for
Yeah,
her
he
birthday, a
bought-
used
yeah.
car. But it's a beautiful car. It had
Wow.
132,000 on it, and it gets 60 miles per gallon on the highway. Yeah, I love this technology. I embrace hybrid technology. I embrace green technology. I think we need to move more toward hybrid technology as opposed to purely electric. I think that's a better transition, so we'll have a backup at all times.
Have you ever heard of the company BYD?
No.
BYD.
It's a car company.
No, I
No,
never
I
have.
have not.
It's yeah, they
Leroy, you're going to have to work on your sentence construction because I can't just
Write
sit
it all
there
down.
hanging on every word you're going to say and say, oh, yeah, Leroy, thank you. I can't wait to hear what you're going to say. That's awesome, man.
Don't worry, David's like that with me too. If I begin to not have everything out, spit it out really quick. He says, "Spit
Yeah.
it out already, Sarah." So
Bdee, bdee, bdee. That's all, folks. This is the car I bought Sarah. It's a cool car. And I seriously think that you guys could get in on this deal. You could buy one of these cars for about $5,000 online. Seriously.
true,
5,000.
5507.
That's we paid
Absolutely.
$4,000 for one that with 132,000 on it. I'm sorry, Leroy. Go ahead. What's your question?
no worries. You look it up. They have buses that are operated in China and other countries, built by BYD. It's named at Build Your Dreams, and taxi cabs and cars, and they're trying to bring them into California within the next year or two.
Wow, the Chinese are trying to bring them in, huh?
If you've ever heard of them, you'd probably be a big fan of them. If
I don't know.
Here they
that
are.
kind of stuff.
I'll check them out. Yeah.
BYD.com. Electric vehicles.
Thanks for
It
telling me
does
about
look
it.
pretty cool, I must say. And I looked up the 40. Are you the person that talked about the 48 laws of power?
Yeah, he is.
Because I looked that up, and I have to say I'm not a fan.
Yeah, we're not a fan of that.
I'm not a fan anyway, because it's all, I think it's highly manipulative. Highly.
Highly
And that's
manipulative.
why it's such a great thing for prison inmates and celebrities, and that's why it's so popular among that
You're kind of bold.
population.
Hugo Fidel, what's his name? Fidel Castro. He read that book. I've never read it. I started reading a little bit about it last night, and I really don't have a take on it. But the laws are pretty interesting. What's interesting about it to me is that everybody reads it when they get to prison, and all the celebrities read it. And I was just trying to get your take on it, and I always value and respect your guys' take. So
What
I won't read it just that.
I strongly suggest, like, you can get this thing, an app for free called LibriVox. And so LibriVox has all these free books that are in the public domain, like really old books that were written during the time of Abraham Lincoln, etc. And the two authors I highly recommend, one is named James Allen, and his book is As a Man Thinketh. And the other author I highly recommend is Wallace D. Wattles, and his books are The Science of Getting Rich, The Science of Being Great, and The Science of Being Well. And I highly recommend all of those books.
I highly recommend the book called I Highly Recommend, which is a very good book, and I recommend it. I highly recommend the book because it
David
is
recommends
a book.
not reading. No, I know what book you do.
I do
recommend.
listen to a lot of books
There's
on tape.
one book that David recommends. It's called
yes.
Hybrid Capitalism, and the author is David John Sponheim.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you write that, Dave?
I wrote it 2 years ago with Sarah, and we really enjoyed talking about how we can create a back to the basics economy with a baseline plus formula. The baseline, by the way, is just a warm roof over your head and some cheap electricity to stay warm, and water, fresh water, and basic food supplies, not expensive food supplies. And the plus part is when you work to get more. And if you don't want to work, if work is a bad four-letter word for you, you'll just live on the baseline. I am a strong leader, and I can assure you one of the things a strong leader does is ban anybody who comes in here accusing me not of being a strong leader. So you're banned, Kibosh. I'm giving you kibosh on you, Kibosh.
putting the kibosh on
We're starting to
kibosh.
get many trolls on the site, and they need to respect the site and the channel for what it is. And
Yeah, well, they don't respect anybody.
I don't appreciate it. Yeah,
Well, they don't respect anybody, Badger Wax. We fought through 6 years of this, man. Thank you. Okay, gold is down to up to 1,200, and silver is sitting at 1683. Yeah, Kitco.
Keep-
Do you think gold's going to go up or down?
Oh, it'll go up eventually.
Eventually up, but in the meantime, might go down.
It's hovering near its lowest
This
denominator.
is the time to buy. I'll say that, even if it goes down for now.
Smiling is allowed. Typos are allowed. I was kidding.
Encouraged.
Highly recommend
I'm sorry,
callers.
I'm the one that makes fun of the typos and don't address your way of thinking 5507 rather than arguing with the points you make, and I tend to address your typos.
Yeah, when the silver goes down, you buy. When it goes up, you sell. Yeah.
David is not. David.
So silver, you're bullish on silver too?
Yes.
I'm definitely bullish on silver. I'm a little bearish on gold right now because it's so expensive and so hard to trade.
That's
You know,
true.
you're down to 1 ounce, a little teeny flecks of an ounce, and it's hard to trade that kind of gold. So hold on to silver if you can.
What do you think silver will be worth 10 years from now an ounce?
$100 an ounce.
But I would suggest with silver and gold, both of us say buy it tangible asset. So don't go invest in what they call paper silver or silver certificates or anything like that. If you're going to buy silver or you're going to buy gold, get it in your hands. I'm personally not a person that's in favor of margins or options or puts or derivatives and all of that. Same thing. If I'm going to buy a stock, I want the actual stock. I don't want all of these things just floating out there.
Gold dust is really hard to trade. It's hard, and sometimes when you're selling it, it blows off your finger. It's like, would anyone like this gold? Where'd it go? It dropped. I lost it somewhere.
Well, the flakes of gold I invest in is Oro gold that I put on my face.
Facial gold.
That I
Facial
wipe off
gold.
and throw away.
We bought some Oro gold. It was really good for your skin. Yeah, it's amazing. You should use it. We should both use it. It'd be great. I could give myself a facial. Don't quote me. Okay, let your high-end safe deposit box hold our precious gold for you. When crap hits the fan, it will be closed.
Well, there was a safe
banks will be, yeah.
There was a safe deposit box that was actually broken into just recently in New York.
Oh yeah, people break into safety
it's
deposits a lot.
pretty crazy.
In every major city, there's like 10 bank robberies a day, but you don't hear about it. The government doesn't want you to know that they're getting robbed all the time. That's why the prices of bank transactions are through the roof. That's why banks are barely able to stay in business right now. I called a guy who worked at the FDIC a couple years ago and asked him a couple questions. And he was pretty knowledgeable. He's the PR guy there. And he told me that the FDIC only has a reserve amount of about $40 billion to cover $20-30 trillion worth of expanded accounts. I mean, so they only have about $40 billion to cover $20 trillion out there in circulation. So it's kind of an iffy situation. If we were to draw on our banks all at once, all of us, they would close the doors immediately, and they would probably reopen them selectively just to pay people out of the FDIC fund, and then it would be tapped out rather quickly. So most people just believe that the banking system will continue, and that's what we're relying on, people having confidence in our banking system, which is still there. Even though we've been supporting it with printed money, it's still there. Right.
Do you think that there's really gold in the Federal Reserve?
No.
I don't think they have any official gold. They've got some paper gold from 1933, but no official gold, no.
Or in Fort Knox, for that matter.
Paper gold or paper gold notes. The government didn't issue gold back in 1933. They confiscated it. When the bankruptcy occurred, I believe it's March 9th, 1933, the entire gold supply was pulled in, including people having gold in their personal bank accounts. So many people had to have kept their gold for years and then eventually tried to sell it and eventually maybe sold it. But there were people that held lots of coins and things back in the day when the government said it was illegal to hold gold. So don't be surprised if the government doesn't say that again. They may say that again. There's an operation going on. Well, there's an operation right now being conducted by the government called Operation Choke Point. And there's very few people know about this, but I found out about it through the grapevine. And my sister told me, actually. She said that she'd encountered a guy at a gold trading location, a pawnbroker or somebody, and he said, yeah, it's all called Operation Choke Point. The government wants to know who's buying gold, when, and they want their social security numbers. So they're trying to slow down the purchasing of real precious metal because they don't want that. That's the worst thing they could have to deal with. They deal in paper gold and paper silver, and that's why the gold and silver markets have been manipulated. Because on the New York Mercantile Exchange, run by COMEX, they control a large amount of paper and gold silver through the big banks like JP Morgan. They move gold back and forth, and they manipulate the market, and that's why the price is still down relative to what it could have been. When it was up around $50 an ounce for silver a couple of years ago, people were making big money, and then immediately dropped down to where it is today. All right, enacted suspended the debt limit. Okay, well, the debt limit is a joke. The government just prints up money whenever they run out of it. That's how they're operating. They're not running on a pay-as-you-go plan. They're not. This is the truth. They're not in any way taking your tax dollars and putting that money toward the operation of our country. Your tax dollars actually go to pay the interest on the debt. Your check to the Treasury goes from the Treasury to the Federal Reserve to pay the interest on our debt, which they keep enlarging to keep funding a large government that's continually wasting money. I know, he must have taken a couple of years in psychology and human class services. He became such an incredible liar. He's completely gone. He doesn't
You know
understand.
how much we owe?
Yeah, we owe $18 trillion officially, but the real number is more like 60 trillion. When you include the Social Security Trust Fund and the amount of money Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae has on mortgages that are outstanding.
How much?
Well,
do you think
$60
that's
trillion
why
is a big number.
They created the housing bubble so that they can create inflation so it'll shrink their debt?
Yes. Well, in fact, there are some people that believe the opposite, that they're going to try to print up a new dollar like an Amero and convert our money to an Amero. And then we would trade our money in for pennies on the dollar. All of us would lose money. But if they did that, the people that owe a lot of money would also lose their debt. You see, there's two sides to that
And
coin.
what happened would be I'm sorry. And I have a friend that I always disagree with on this one. But what would happen to stocks, like shares in companies? You know, so if the dollar was lost all value, and we went to a new currency, the stocks would still be worth money, just not in the form of American dollars. Is that right? Or I might be going all over the place here.
I think you
but
might be
I got a
correct.
friend that thinks that if the dollar goes to zero, then stocks won't be worth anything as well. Am I wrong, or is he wrong?
What do you think, David? And what I think more on the terms
Let
of
me
you,
add
like
this.
it's all
I'm sorry
relative.
to add this. Just one more thing. The dollar has lost 93% in the last 50 years, but yet stocks are at the all-time high. So, we're 7 cents away from losing an entire dollar on your purchasing power, but yet stocks are still valuable as ever.
Your dollar was
you just need more dollars to buy the shares.
Right, and inflation really is just you catching up with the high prices around town. That's what inflation is, and they keep raising the prices, making your dollar worth less in terms of buying power. But I mean, you can still go $500 to buy an LED TV, 50-inch LED TV at Best Buy. So your money isn't worthless. Your money is still worth something. We've had a lot of benefits from globalization at the marketplace. We can't say completely that globalization's been a net loss for America. I mean, we're all buying cheaper telephones, much more affordable electronic appliances. But at the same time, we're also not seeing American jobs. We're not seeing growth. Retail companies don't have a high margin of profit. Companies like Best Buy are struggling. Radio Shack definitely is struggling. Sears, Roebuck, and of course JCPenney's are all struggling. So there's a lot of businesses that are just not seeing a lot of expendable income going out. People just don't have a lot of loose cash. But the dollar itself is still being used and commonly traded, and it is a world currency. So we have a lot of momentum behind us.
Well, I'm a Pisces. Let me speak on that in 1929 and a lot of what's happening today as well. This whole issue of derivatives and margin calls that continue to happen, those are going to be worth less if something happens to the dollar or something happens to the stock market, because that really is not an actual tangible stock in a business. Whereas if you own a stock in the business, as long as the business is in operational, then you're going to have you're going to own part of that business. But I mean, the derivatives market is not something I don't want to invest in. I will say that.
They call them weapons of mass destruction. Financial ones, that is.
Yeah, the derivatives,
But,
exactly.
Yeah, very weak
Yeah.
market.
But yeah, you know a lot about. So how did you educate yourself on that, Sarah? I mean, you just read a lot. I mean, you know a lot about that stuff. Not many people do.
Well, I was just
And
looking at
that's the
videos.
stuff that you were talking about in that field, but you I mean, that's a lot.
I was just looking at videos just today before I came into the show for about an hour. I was looking at videos on TD Ameritrade because I opened up an account over there because I am interested in investing in the stock market a little bit, just to diversify my portfolio or whatever. And I was looking at, I was like, what is because it said, do you want to open up, do you want margins or options? And so I was like, well, what? They have a little video on their site about that, and they said, like, equity is when you actually own a stock and you own a portion of a business, whereas a mutual fund kind of brings all those stocks together. But a derivative is basically like, it's derived. You're like betting on the stock market at large rather than actually betting on something
Right, so-
tangible.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
It's
I would
betting.
not. No.
It's betting, and then the margin. If you don't want to borrow, but if you do, you're paying 8% plus commission on that borrowed money. And most people, modest people, were happy with 8% a year. So if you're paying 8% a month,
Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
on borrowed money, then you're asking for trouble. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think it is.
Hi,
really
I'm not Connie.
ridiculous.
I won't be in till later. Connie won't be in till a little bit later. She wanted to come in earlier, but I think she's sidetracked right now. Every year when my birthday comes, everyone says 1 year old and just as good looking. Yeah, 1 year older and just as good looking. Yeah. I discovered a great secret to aging, and that is don't think about it. Just try not to think about aging. Don't put yourself on some sort of a timetable. Get the mindset out of the aging process. Stop thinking about getting older. Always think about just staying young in heart, Yeah, just so much
Are you going
better.
to buy stocks, Sarah?
She is.
I
She
have
is
a
gonna
little
buy.
bit, yeah. I mean, I have a little bit set aside for that purpose, so.
Yeah, she's wanting to invest. She's trying to invest in something. And I think that food is one of those areas you can invest in. It's solid. You're going to see a return on your investment. It's guaranteed people are going to buy food.
ConAgra, you can't really, I guess you can buy crap, but that's too late now. But ConAgra is a good company for food, but also like a safe one with a good dividend. There's a couple you can like Campbell's Soup or Kellogg's. Also General Mills, but they're more so with the breakfast only. Kellogg's is too, but
Well, you can also buy
ConAgra
food. You can buy food and store up the food in your closet. That's what I'm investing in. Widespread
Yeah, I don't
power
want to
outages.
invest in ConAgra because I don't believe in what they stand for. Just like I like that whole idea of, Lockheed Martin's graphene, but I don't like
Afternoon, everybody.
Lockheed Martin,
Do you have any details
with
for
their
us on the power
idea of
outage and
investing in like
how
their.
broadly the White House may have been affected by it?
I suspected that might have been the subject of some conversation.
We've got a power outage at the White House here.
I can tell you that there was a power outage this afternoon that did briefly have an impact on the White House complex.
Okay, so Michelle must have had some problems with some of her toys, so we probably don't want to go there, but I don't really know what the end result is for the power outage, but thank you. Hate to blow your bubble, but we've got a completely incompetent president and a first lady that I'm beginning to wonder if she is a first lady. Yeah. Easy, buddy.
She's not. You could tell that she hates being in that house.
I know. She's trapped in a man's body, and I feel sorry for Michelle. I really do.
Did you see her get mugged when they went to Saudi Arabia? Did you see her give the Saudi Arabian prince an evil mug? When they went there, when Obama went there for the funeral for the king that passed away,
He was upset.
Michelle got off.
What was the deal? She didn't have her burqa on. I know that.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah, she didn't have it, and she got off the plane, and Obama, bowed down to the prince, and when he did that, she looked at the prince and gave him a real nasty look.
Really?
Like she didn't want to be there, and she thought that they just all looked stupid. They have a picture of her doing it, and it's pretty disrespectful, but it just shows what kind of person she is. She's a really nasty person. I'm not trying to be nasty towards her, but she really is. She's really nasty.
I've heard that they've had nothing but arguments in the White House. It's been getting really out of control. I know that a lot of that's kept from the press because they want to pretend like this is a normal couple. But no, this is not a normal couple, and they're not normal people, period. We're dealing with a bigger problem here. That's the truth.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you could tell. I mean, for many years, she has not wanted to be in that house. I think she got a kick out of running and supporting her husband in 2008. But after that, it's very clear that she hates being in that house, and she hates being the first lady.
I agree. I was really shocked when she was compared to Camelot. I'm talking now.
She loved it.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking now. She was shocked when she was compared. She and Barack were compared to the Camelot with JFK and Jackie. She was upset, and I think that was weird because I finally figured out why they were upset, because they didn't want to be stigmatized as white people. They're black people, so I think that's understandable. I understand that they don't want to be stigmatized.
Yeah,
I get it, man. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you want to take a break, Sarah? Because
Yes.
my sister might want to come in. You can talk about that, and I'll move on. I don't know what that was in the upper hand corner. It was just a figment of my imagination. David exhibits antisocial behavior. Ivan, no, I just don't like the president that you seem to love, Ivan. I think you explained that earlier when you made the comment, and I quote, Ivan said, so much hate. So much hate. Just because I talked about Obama and what a bad president he is. Thank you, Sarah, for coming in.
Yeah, that's not hate. That's just really...
No, she's not a lesbian. She's obviously a transgender. I mean, there's no question in my mind. We had pictures the other day of Michelle Obama coming out on Jimmy Fallon's show with nipples appearing through her sweater to make her look more feminine. I mean, they're doing some damage control here on Michelle, and it's kind of scary that they have to go to this extreme to cover up their act. You didn't see the Michelle nipple pictures? Okay. Well, I'll bring them up for you. You didn't know? We've got a freakish first lady and a first, whatever you want to call him. You call him a president. He's an illegal alien.
Can I get your key?
Yes.
I'll bring it right back.
Well, what do you mean, please don't, David? You voted for the guy. It's your problem. You created the problem. He now wants to broker a deal with Iran so that Iran can have a nuclear weapon in 1 year and 1 day. I'm not a communist. I'm a centrist, and I support this country. I don't support the mindlessness of this president bending over and grabbing his ankles and telling Iran to come on in. I believe we've got the nipple picture from Businessman. If you want to send that to us, you can post the picture. But yeah, she's trying to desperately appear like she's a woman when she's clearly not.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've got a guy who just doesn't fill his shoes of the presidency. Urkel, yes, but not the presidency. I mean, yeah. And why don't you Democrats realize that? And you, sir, are a commie, and I'm going to accuse you of being a communist as well. You can do a better one than that. There you go. No, that's not the right one. Go for the other one. That was a hate mem, I know. I'm here, but Merkel isn't. Okay, anybody else want to see some candid pictures that have been photoshopped of the president? How about Barack Obama? Many of you are into good quality food. Here's a guy who has lost 2% of the agricultural production every year that he's been president. He wouldn't know broccoli if it was staring him in the face. No, I don't do that type of thing. I'm not some sort of a pornographer. My God, man. Yeah, here's a picture of Michelle trying to pull off her female form again. Those manly shoulders are clearly indicative of what appears to be a very strong dude. But the nipples in the picture indicate that the dude may be taking injections. So, yeah, some people think that nipples imply a woman. No, there's lots of transgenders with nipples. So we've got a vegetable and a transgender for a president and a vice president and single. And I know a lot of you people are hating on him because he has done absolutely nothing for your country, our country. And many people don't understand when I come in hard and strong against the president, it is my right, guaranteed to me by the freedom of speech in the Bill of Rights. Thank you. I don't suffer from anything. I'm actually a person who has very few problems whatsoever. I live in almost an idyllic state, all created by me, mastered by me. I'm a master of my own destiny. And I've done this because it has to be, or it would not be. It sounds like it rhymes or something. Okay, Richard Russell, the bear market is gold is over. As desperate Fed may usher in the QE4 and a world of hyperinflation. We've talked about that. I have few friends, therefore I have few problems. It's true. I terminated all my friendships of the past. I'm in an absolute state of zen. Nobody calls me, bothers me, saying, David, could you help me give you a ride? I don't get any of that. I used to get drunks call me up saying, how you doing, babe? How you doing? I'm a person who's right in the center of the political spectrum. I was a Democrat for 30 years. Just because I don't like your Muslim homosexual jihadist president doesn't make me less of a former Democrat. I'm doing good. How you doing, babe? Are we still on this phone call?
Yes.
Oh, wow, you're amazing. You're one of the best callers we ever had.
Thank you.
You know, I just believe that once you get a comfortable place to live, even if it's a cardboard box, make the most of it. You know, put up tinfoil and a little LED screen and hook it up to a battery and a solar charger. You'll have yourself the nicest cardboard box in the entire ghetto. Just make the best of what you got, all right? Hey, it's me, Awesome Carl. There's a guy who stepped it up and got a job. People said, Carl, get a job. He got a job. Seriously. No, this is not Don Tony. This is Leroy. Isn't this Leroy?
Yes.
I know. See, I know these things. He told me he was Leroy earlier. How you doing, babe? Yeah, I'm not like that. You know, I'm not a drinker. I don't drink alcohol. I wouldn't even drink the beer we would brew in the White House so that we could make a return on investment and pay for the White House operations. I'm not into beer. I don't like to drink. I'm not like George W. and go, people die. Dying for Bud. David, do you think there are any cures for the cancer? Yes, of course. There's cures available, and we need to make mass production of the cures. There's a brain cancer cure that only the rich can buy at $35,000 an injection. That's wrong. We need to do whatever it takes to make that brain cancer, anti-cancer medication cheap and affordable for the American people. There are cures, absolutely. No, I'm not a bicycle sniffer. I don't sniff panties. I'm not a pervert. Many of you are. I understand that. I'm not trying to take away your perversion. I'm not going to tell you can't watch free porn on the internet. Believe me, I understand what you do. I know about what you're doing. The NSA is watching you. We got another caller. Hang on. Hang on just a second.
Call from
Robert.
Cool.
this caller to your.
The show's crazy, but I like it. Wow. Hey, Evil Enmity. And Robert, you're on. Shrek is on. You got a couple good callers. Hey, Shrek, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on, Room? What's going on, Leroy or Don Tony, whatever your name is?
Yeah.
Leroy.
Not lots of things happening with people getting sick, and they're very afraid. You've lost the video? Well, you can always get the video back if you have to. at Ustream. We're good on tablets too. We can actually be picked up on our on a tablet on that site, ustream.tv/channel/America's Third Party.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know that Ustream actually picks up on the tablet. I did that on the tablet and it came through great.
I don't burden Sarah with rent. She offers to pay me. I don't ask her. She offers to pay me. She's a wonderful person who steps up and does what she thinks she needs to do, and she's saving money living with me. I'm very careful. I've never lost a business in terms of bankruptcy. I've closed businesses down because they weren't making any money, but I never went into debt and had to close a business in bankruptcy. So I've got a good track record. I guarantee I could cut the budget on this nation without affecting performance. I guarantee that. I can get a zero deficit by 2017. And we will talk about that coming up on Wednesday. We're talking about a Wasteful Wednesday tomorrow. We'll be talking about how I'm going to get a zero deficit for 2017. Whereas the Republicans have a plan to get a zero deficit by 2024. That's how completely corrupt they are. And Rand Paul is not a worthy opponent in this race. He's basically a person who's told by his dad and other people, well, you should run, Rand. Take advantage of your connections in Washington. That's what you got with Rand. Plus, he supports...
Did you ever get those bumper stickers done by chance or no?
The bumper stickers are up and running, yeah. You could actually get a bumper sticker for $4, man. I got them out there. Let me show you.
Because I want to put, I'm not going to say anything bad about my grandma, but my grandma just ended up getting a It's Time for Hillary bumper sticker, and I want to go by and graffiti her car at nighttime.
Well, you can put a bumper sticker on her bumper right there with $4 bumper sticker from America's Third Party, and that'll get you one right at the Cafe Press location. That's our basic bumper sticker. I haven't made it any more difficult than that. This is it, you know. But yeah, if you want to buy it, it's $4, and there's the link right online, Cafe Press. You can also find the link if you migrate through our store to get to it.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, so cool. Grandma doesn't want to jump party allegiance yet. A lot of people are having problems with that.
Yeah. So what do we have on tap for True Tuesday? Just got off work.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about how, cars like the one you bought and we have is saving a lot of money on people's budget. We have a Honda Insight. Shrek bought one like this when I got one for Sarah. He got one for his wife.
I should say it was for my wife. It's not for me.
Right, it was for your wife.
I drive a nice truck.
Yeah, you have a really nice Silverado truck, but I mean, if we save money on our gas whenever we can, if you do your shopping in the little car and save money that way, you're going to save money long term, and you're going to be able to get ahead in a tough economy. Even if the price of gas stays low, you're still saving money. So, and we bought used, both Shrek and I, and we saved a lot of money. We saved $20,000 on the sticker price of this vehicle. That was $23,000 new. Seriously.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you bought it for $3,000 or $4,000, you're saving 90% or more on the sticker price. I'm sure you would. I can't wait till you win and legalize drugs. Oh, and prostitution? And pardon Charles Manson? No. We're not going to pardon Charles Manson.
What's going on, Willie Pickles?
He's dangerous. Willie Pickles! So Leroy and I and you are having a conversation about the price of everything going up, and everyone's kind of shocked at the markets. Prices are just skyrocketing. Typically, what do you spend for a week on food now? Are you cutting your food budget a little bit? You can shop where you work, right?
Yeah, my food budget has been cut since you actually helped me out, with saving money. I was spending roughly a week, maybe about $300-400, and that got cut in half big time. So now I'm only down to $150 to $200 a week.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of money per week. Now you're down to $100 a week. That's great savings. Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So my sister Connie's in here.
You're saving. I look kind of like an owl, don't I?
No, you're cool. I mean, it's kind of fun. You're.
There's Connie.
Hello.
Hello, Connie.
Who's this? Who's this?
This is Shrek. He's one of our supporters.
Shrek. I've heard of Shrek a lot.
He put his sign all the way, it was great of you to do that, and we encourage other people to do that, to print our signs up at davidsponheim.com.
Yeah.
But phase 2 of Jade Helm 15 is emerging. Scissor Fight has a link here. Jade Helm is this organization, or this effort, operation by our government to prepare for what? A threat from Russia? Something like that? We're not sure.
We're not sure what we're preparing for. But I heard something interesting about Jade Helm, David.
What?
That what if it's a way for them to watch to see what we do after they announce it?
Yeah.
And more or less it's a way to observe our behavior.
Absolutely.
Kind of a psyop.
Yeah, it is. That's what I was suggesting.
Well, that's what they're doing. July 15th through
okay,
September,
cool.
whatever it is, they clearly made it. They verbally said that they're going to be walking amongst the civilians just to take a look at what we do, to make sure that everybody is safe, calm, collective.
I think it's to get to adapt.
And they're all drills. That's what they plan on doing.
I think it's to let us adapt to a presence of military on the streets. I mean, that kind of feels a little bit like it's a psyop to see how we react to the presence of military. But other people have a different take, of course. I understand that.
Yeah, people pay a lot of money per week. I see people blow $300 a week on food. It's quite common, so it's normal. Where'd you get those glasses? Those are kind of cool.
I don't know. They were really cheap at the.
Oh, they're just
they're
they're
reading
basic
glasses.
reading
They're
glasses?
reading glasses,
Okay.
but they matched my pink top, so I got them.
If we cut the waste in the government, we would be taking at least $500 billion off the budget. There's about $500 billion wiggle room there if we just cut the waste. And we managed to do that by eliminating the huge military-industrial complex the way we have it currently, making them much more amenable to UAV production as opposed to big jet production, where we're wasting tons and tons of money. Every time a jet flies above our house, they spend $10,000 in gas every day.
Who's paying for that?
Taxpayers.
Why don't we get a say in that?
Well, we're paying the interest on the debt, so they're just borrowing money. Yeah, and $500 million was wasted recently, sent into nowhere, into Yemen. We don't even know what happened to $500 million with the weapons.
I spend $50 a week on groceries. I don't spend $400 a week. I spend $50 a week because I look for really good deals.
And since we're talking about the Jade Helm thing, I believe it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago that homeless guy Ed sent you a link about one of the Black Hawk helicopters hovering above a house and dropping a package.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That happened again.
What was
Really?
that package?
Wow. We don't even know what's going on there. What is that, a test
no
package?
No one knows what it is.
Knows?
No.
What city was that?
And well, the original drop happened. I don't know. It was a few months ago, but it just happened again on yesterday.
What state and what city?
And Arizona. It happened in Avondale, Arizona.
Okay. Is that near Mesa? Is that near Phoenix, or where is that near?
It's about 30 minutes west of Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
I think Jade Helm is just a psyop test to see how we react to military on the street.
On December 18th, 2014, Obama secretly signed an executive order creating a presidential task force geared at 21st century policing. He's using this as we don't need this. We don't need a federal takedown of our policing system.
We don't need.
He's using Ferguson as a reason. He's using a lot of things as justification.
Ferguson isn't a good reflection of the entire country. Why do they think that it
Ferguson
is the
was
case?
fake. Ferguson
it was
was fake.
There were all
George
these,
Soros put that up.
Yeah, there were all
Ferguson was a huge hoax.
Yeah, and they were telling them up. They were trying to drive them out of the city because they knew that they were there. What are they called again? Oh, provocateurs. Yeah, they were trying to drive the provocateurs out of the city. There weren't that many, but there were enough to cause problems. And they said, hey, man, we know what you're doing. And I heard about this. And so, we are not a reflection of Ferguson. No other place in the country is that I know of.
Yeah, we're actually very peaceful, all of countries. So if this is a test of the American response to a martial law scenario, they're mostly gauging the press and looking at the press and responding to us. But I think they're expecting people to go ballistic. That's how mindless the elitists are. They actually expect us all to just grab our weapons and start freaking out.
Or they think that the militias are going to come out of the woodwork or something. They think militias are going to stand on the street and say, okay, we're ready now. Like the Bundy Ranch deal. I think they're going to, they might come in on their horseback. Who knows?
That the government...
Well, the Bundy Ranch situation, that was huge. I mean, that showed a lot of Americans standing their ground against the government and against their corrupt system. that they want to do.
Yeah.
And I actually told David that I was there for the weekend when it was actually happening, and it was a huge mark for, you know, the Americans that, you know, want to have a nice, you know, country to live in, to actually come together and show the corrupt system, no, we're not going down without a fight.
Yeah, well, I'm in contact with the Bundy family by some emails, just to, you know, like to hear what's going on. But they have a bill in right in the Arizona Congress there that is going to affect their land and whether they can keep their land for grazing. So they're waiting to hear now, and it's a pretty good chance that they will be okay. But they've had to really marshal a lot of people to come out there and be a force to be reckoned with, to sit there and, you know, wait to hear what the bill's going to be, because they just want to have their animals grazing on public lands.
Yeah. Sure. I'm against the war.
All right, Dave, Connie, thank you for having me on. I'm going to get up now.
Okay, great.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Thanks, Shrek. Take care. I live under a war zone, veritably. I live under F-18s flying all the time now, and they're using this as a ramp-up option for our military to prepare for a war. The two parties endorse war, and Sarah and I and Connie, we're all against war. We don't want war.
Who wants war? Anybody want war? I don't think they're. You know, there's just psychotic people, and people want to make money off the war. No, I'm not his mother. I'm his sister. Somebody keeps saying, "Is that the mother?"
That's just.
I'm the sister.
Yeah, but you know, the reality is our country, it can actually improve without having a war. But the government did a study back in 1975, the Rand Corporation, testing to see how America would prosper in a peacetime period. And the results were so dramatic and concerning to the government that they didn't even reveal the study. It showed our country couldn't make money if we didn't have a war going on. So the reason why these elitists want war is because they want to make money and they want to keep the economy rolling along with expanded credit. The only way they can expand credit is to make war.
Call from
Johnny.
Okay.
Add this caller to your... I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Johnny, we'll bring you in here. Military-industrial complex wants war. That's right. And we don't want the military-industrial complex to profit.
We're not going to break out in violence over Jade Helm. We're not going to break out in violence over Jade Helm. Not that I know of. There's no reason to do it.
I would turn guest chat off if I wanted to alienate guests who really do want to talk, but I can ban them as fast as they can come in.
You're
None of us
good
want
with this.
war.
You're
Yeah,
pretty good with
Monsanto.
this,
Thank you. Monsanto employee admits an entire department exists to discredit scientists. Scissorfight. Natural Society is a great site. This is an article that just popped in from Scissorfight.
Call from
Johnny. Put me on, Dave.
Okay, coming in, Johnny.
accept press to send a voice.
Johnny, a Monsanto employee admits an entire department exists to discredit scientists. Look at this, folks. We've got a real problem with Monsanto. They're continuing to corrupt the food supply. Hey, Johnny, what's your question?
Just a comment, Dave. I just want to say this: the sounds of them F-18s above your head. That's the sound of freedom, man. Don't knock it, man.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't hear you a word you said, man, because I had too much audio damage today. My head is buzzing from the 120 decibel over my head. You know, do you realize that we have a 50,000 person population sitting right underneath F-18s that are flying within 6 feet of each other? Do you realize that? Are you aware that an accident can happen at any time? Are you aware of that? Children are at risk. Why can't they do the flying over China Lake and the Mojave? Could you answer that question for me?
It's too far.
You need them accessible. You need them right now.
It's too far.
Okay, so they need to be right there, right now. Okay.
Wants to go to war.
Hey, you know, look, I don't have a problem with, you know,
they're all kind of they're in every state, every populated there is.
You know,
millions of people.
I understand, you know, but I got to tell you, man, it's only going to take one major crash here for you to be eating your words and you saying, well, I don't understand why that crash occurred. But you know, the 2 months ago or 6 months ago, 2 F-18s that trained right here crashed over the Carl Vinson. You know that, right?
Yeah, well, I was saying in Florida last week, a couple weeks ago, a helicopter crashed.
Yes, it did.
Killed like 2 people.
Bad things happen, yeah. I mean, just off the coast at F-35, they had to bring all the Navy emergency crews out there to the coastline because they thought an F-35 was going to hit the water. But they finally landed it. They've got a lot of problems with these big jets. I'm only saying we need to tool up for a more nimble Air Force and a better protection force that will be a responsive, and we don't have to spend all this money. Do you know that China has scramjets that'll go Mach 10 right now? You know that?
They have submarines.
Yeah, we only go Mach 2 in the F-18. We only go Mach 2 in the F-18. Only. They did that over my house the other day.
They have submarines.
Mach 10. And they've got deployable missiles, heat-seeking missiles that'll go Mach 10 too. So why are you dragging on an old, antiquated system like the F-35? What's your love affair with jets? Tell me about that.
I don't have one. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We need them. You'll need them sooner or later.
Who are we fighting?
You know we have 187 F-22s, and we only used them once in the past 20 years. And that was recently when we killed 31 civilians in Syria.
Who are we fighting? I would like to know who we're fighting.
We're not even using our force, man. We don't need more jets. We got tons of jets.
Who's the
we got
enemy?
jets at the yin yang. Why do you keep ramping up for more jets? I don't understand this. You need to move forward and think about UAVs. We need to.
Yeah, but have you seen that new jet?
You don't need a pilot to take something out. A Mach 10 UAV could exist. I've seen the new jet, and it won't go Mach 10. And they won't have a manned vehicle that'll go Mach 10. It'll be unmanned, and it'll be completely run by robotics.
Just the thought of all those jets to some of these third-rate dictators, it keeps them in line.
Ask him who.
I see your point. I look at. I'm right in the middle on the political spectrum. I don't dislike the Navy. I actually am very proud to be an American living in a naval air station area, like would be Naval Air Station. I'm very proud to live here. I actually don't like people thinking I'm against the Navy. I actually support our defenses to the max. I just don't want to waste money. And we put $1.5 trillion into the F-35 over 50 years. That's what our goal is. And the F-35 will not even have a gun until 2019. They still don't have an operational gun on the jet. You know that? There's a lot of things you may not know about the jets. There are a lot of problems with the jets. And I'm not going to throw billions and billions of dollars at antiquated technology when we need to start thinking about light, lean, and mean and getting the job done quickly, as opposed to sending young men off to die in piles of metal that are burning gas at an alarming rate.
Yeah, in Unbroken, he
Yeah,
was
but
in.
remember correctly, Jimmy Carter tried that. He tried to go lean and mean.
But who are we fighting? Ask him who we're fighting. I have no idea who
We're fighting an imaginary enemy. It's called ISIS, okay?
Okay, but ISIS, who is ISIS? Did anybody do any research on where ISIS was created from? I mean, when you do some deep research, you find some interesting facts. So do some research.
The devil created them. The devil created them.
Well,
The devil created them.
you got to go back to who's the devil, because the devil is Saudi Arabia and the U.S. and the Mossad. So you got to go back to the origins of this ISIS group, and you'll come up with a lot of good information that will, make you calm down about being fearful and needing jets overhead. Because I don't see an enemy. I really don't see an enemy right now.
Yeah. Look at this. During 9/11, we had many jets ready to deploy against hijacked aircraft, however, none were armed with missiles on the East Coast. So here we had an attack on 9/11 where the jets actually scrammed away. It took Dick Cheney 30 minutes to respond to the attack, and we didn't even send the jets to take anyone down. I mean, seriously, man, you need to rethink your defense strategy with just jets. Really, I support our defense. Don't get me wrong.
Some people think the plane that went down over Pennsylvania was shot down.
Right. Well, many people believe it was shot down, but they also believe that it may have not even landed in Pennsylvania. It may have landed in Cleveland. Flight 93 may have landed in Cleveland. The mayor of Cleveland said it landed there.
A lot of parents are complaining about ISIS. Their daughter's names is ISIS.
Oh, really? Is that
and they're
true?
complaining that it's being used all the time, and their daughters are getting a lot of flack.
I have video of a guy who was at the scene when Flight 93 crashed, and he said there was nothing there, no people there. There were no bodies there, not a stitch of human beings. Yeah, so that maybe it didn't crash.
You hit the ground going 600 miles an hour. That's going to be left. Come on.
No, that's not true. No. That even the recent crash of the French Alps plane, the Airbus, there were body parts everywhere. This guy saw just nothing. Listen to this.
Some small fires in the woods, just small brush fires.
Small brush fires.
The ground smoking, debris everywhere, pieces of metal, paper, insulation, wiring. And I just looked around and no people,
No people, yeah. So even he didn't see any people. So many people are asking, because this is Truth Tuesday, we're going to talk about 9/11 now. Did it really happen the way they said it did? And how come the 9/11 Commission report did not admit any explosions occurred when there were countless eyewitnesses to explosions at the Trade Center? Yet not one admission of explosions or the possibility of a demolition. Every expert, archaeologist or architects rather, have stated this was a demolition. Period. Plain and simple.
Is it all right to plug Rebecca's book?
I'm not.
Okay.
Well, the reason they didn't find any bodies in Pennsylvania because L. Ron Hubbard got them.
Okay, so scientists turn to hemp for cheap, fast-charging batteries. Interesting. That's going to be something we'll talk about on Technology Thursday. Thank you, Mr. Bunny.
Well, Rebecca Roth is an author that you ought to look into. Rebecca is spelled Rebekayah. Rebecca Roth. She just wrote a book on 9/11. Rebecca Roth, and I forgot the name of the book, but it's a wonderful book, and it will tell you a lot. She's a flight attendant, or has been for some 20 to 30 years, and the minute she heard what happened, she and about 20 other flight attendants she knows knew something was way wrong, and she looked into it deeper, and her book has just come out.
Right.
So
Rebecca Roth is going public because she did the due diligence as a flight attendant. She's a senior flight attendant back in 9/11, and she said that as she traced the plane's landing in a hangar in Massachusetts, as a military hangar, she actually traced their landings and everything. So she's got very interesting spins on the story. There's a lot of new information about 9/11 that shows that the forensic evidence from the World Trade Center attack shows that they were doing a lot of business transactions under the table during the takedown of the Trade Center. They were moving trillions of dollars. And ironically, and this is a fact, this is a truth, the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, took a remote emergency location out 2 days before the 9/11 attack. Why would the SEC do that? Why would they take a remote location out, knowing full and well that implies that they knew about the attack?
it is a heartbreaking story, though, that she tells about how they killed a whole plane full of people. Actually, they didn't kill them in the air. They didn't kill them on the ground. They killed them in a hangar. So they're
wow.
I don't know what they
she
did
doesn't
with
know
the bodies.
that, though. She doesn't know that. She's speculating.
She's going through all sorts of
She's speculating what they did with
theory
people.
as well as fact.
Yeah. All right, so a lot of people are worried that this kind of event could happen again. There could be a big event that'll trigger another reaction, another war, and ultimately World War III, which many people are saying, how is this possible? I mean, they voted for Barack Obama thinking everything was going to be beautiful. And here they got a turncoat, Muslim jihadist homosexual as a president.
He's got a good, he puts on a good facade. And people want to believe, don't they, David? They want to believe that things are going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, that you wouldn't want to think that things are going to be bad.
Well,
and you wouldn't want to think that corruption exists. You wouldn't want to think that.
When Barack Obama became president, we all were already spinning down. Our economy was in the tank. We're already facing problems during the election, and he acted like he just found this out. And he said, well, make no mistake about it. Things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. I mean, that's a classic example of a guy who doesn't even know how to fix the problem.
Blowing out his butt, basically.
War is not the answer. War is going to put us in very deep, close proximity to a nuclear exchange.
Well, guess what? Well, you know what Putin has said? He's made it very clear. If anybody tries to mess with the Ukraine, he's ready with a nuke. And that would be, America would have to cope with nukes in several cities. I mean, is that intelligent? But that is what Putin has said, and he's true to his word.
Yeah.
You don't mess with the bear. You don't.
No, you don't. He's a sleeping bear. It's like walking up to a bear in hibernation.
They're unpredictable.
Highly.
Bears is the most unpredictable animal aside from the lion, the cats, is the bear. And you just don't mess with the bear, and that's what they've been called for years. He's a man true to his word. He's KGB.
Researchers have found that you can demonstrate a very efficient carbon electrode simply by heating hemp base fibers in a 2-stage process.
What does it do?
Well, it's creating electric batteries out of hemp. So that's interesting. We'll look at that on Thursday. Thank you.
No, JFK was not killed by his buddies. Those are not his buddies that blow his head off. No, that's the mob and about 9 other assassins. But it's certainly not his buddies.
There were a lot of people converging. It was like an assassins convention at JFK's
they had
assassination.
a power outage just about 20, 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, the White House is on lockdown. They had a power outage about 20 minutes ago. Now, you said to me tonight, you met with a guy today who you
friend.
share ideas with, a friend, who was very concerned about an EMP hitting, electromagnetic pulse. And I want to talk to you about some of the things that I've been hearing on the internet that
Because
could
yours
very well
is more
change.
positive, mine's a little more negative. Yeah.
Well, you know that I was very concerned, and I'm still very concerned about chemtrails, right, and how they've affected our entire
that's
environment.
big with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had a guy tell me the other night that he claims to be an NSA agent, but whatever. Whether you believe it or not, he said that chemtrails are actually designed to prevent an attack by an EMP.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
This is a new theory that and that's the only credible theory I could come up with to rationalize why the government would not tell the American people about chemtrails. And if you deny chemtrails are happening, you must be blind.
And David knows, he knows more about chemtrails than I do, but I do know that this friend said that it would be a nuke that would be sent up into the atmosphere, and it would blow out we'd have no grid. It would blow out all the transformers, I guess they're called, and it would cover the South and the northern North America and South America, so that people could not have anywhere to run. So that's the problem. We would lose half our population, because when you think about how many things are hooked up to the grid, your automobiles, many of them are computerized. You got the gas, you can't pump gas. You got the sewers, you got the water. The list goes on and on. The dependency that we have on electricity. So I'm just a little afraid of an EMP, and it's possible that our someone in our government could create it as a false flag. It's very scary.
Yeah, well, that is one of the biggest first strike fears for our government, is to deal with an EMP. There have been, countries that are developing EMPs like Iran. Right now, we're perched on the edge of World War III because of a very bad agreement that Barack Obama is pushing forth that gives Iran the ability to have a nuclear weapon within a year, or right around a year. Their agreement is to not create a nuclear weapon until after a year has passed. That's not an agreement, in my opinion. That's more of a screw job.
Yeah, we are prepared for an EMP as much as we can with water and food. It's a good idea to have, supplies, and I'd like to have a little garden in my other residence. I'm going to do some hydroponics.
Okay.
What happened to Obama there?
It's just basically a picture of what we're really dealing with as a president.
Sort of a guy gone rogue.
This is a good example of what we've got for a president right here.
He's a little bit spaced out.
Yeah. So, I can take you to his early days as a homosexual in Occidental College and give you pictures and validations and show you even his the spots on his head that look like a scar from brain surgery.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that because nobody seems to care about the reality that this guy's had major brain surgery.
Yeah.
So people are beginning to go, well, what's going on? Our country's getting worse and worse under this president. Well, that's because we are basically being under control by some outer force.
I don't think we're protected. I feel like we are not protected at all.
Right.
And in fact, we need protection against from this government. We need protection from them. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Really? Wow. Be attacked.
Dave,
yes, go ahead.
Dave, was you and Ronnie's parents, were they like conspiracy theorists too?
We're not conspiracy theorists. We're conspiracy facts.
I'm a conspiracy fact person, and calling us a theorist is absurd. We're just telling you facts. Chemtrails really are happening, and it's a fact.
Funny.
It's not a theory.
We had parents that were free thinkers.
Yeah. They were, and they were both intelligent former Marines. They both went on to pursue their higher education, and Connie pursued her education. She has a master's degree.
And they were in the helping professions. Both of them were in the helping professions, which I think are good, to help others. But they were free thinkers. They had an open mind. So we had great discussions that I kind of miss. I miss those big, nice discussions.
Well, right before Dad died, we talked about Obama becoming a president, and he said, well, do you think he'll be president, Dave? And I said, well, how can he? He's not a citizen. He's from Kenya. Because at the time, everyone thought Barack Obama was from Kenya, and he said he was from Kenya all over the place. Even his literary agent told people he was from Kenya. So there was no doubt in my mind that no one from Kenya could possibly be president, and then lo and behold, they decided to go against the Constitution, overtake our oversight by the Supreme Court by knocking it off the Supreme Court. No one ever got to it.
Winter.
Okay.
To add this call, current call.
No, my dad was not pro-Obama at all. No, I was concerned that Obama would be a bad guy, and he was a bad guy. So go ahead. Hey, Wintard, what's on? What's going on, man?
Hey.
Hey, dude.
I was wondering how many cops Connie can take at once.
You know, I don't think she's ever been pulled in by a cop, but, you know, that's a very interesting question. Probably she could be talking to 2 cops, 3 cops. How many cops would be around you at one time? You know, for you to, like, stand down, Wintard? So, yeah, we've got a lot of questions. Let's look at the big question of the entire 9/11 event. Why did the FBI only release 15 frames of footage when they had 83 camera angles looking at what appears to be a missile hitting the Pentagon? Not sure how that happened. Ah, I see what happened there. Okay, I just flipped a screen. I went into another screen. Hang on. There we go. See this missile? That's a missile, folks. So they couldn't cover up the telltale sign of what really happened. A missile hit the Pentagon. And you know what the Pentagon had that they wanted to get rid of? And this missile was targeted right at the Pentagon. The Pentagon had a group of people at the Office of Naval Intelligence that were researching a bond issue that had come due on 9/11. 10 years after George H.W. Bush pulled out $240 billion to finance an attack on the Soviet Union, which basically undermined the finances of the Soviet Union and took them down. That issue had to be paid, and because he wasn't going to pay it, $240 billion, they took out the Office of Naval Intelligence who were researching this. That's what happened. All right, so everybody's all excited that Wintard called. I'm so glad. And she asked an important question. How many cops does it take to take somebody down? Thank you, Wintard, for your concern. Evening, Big Dave. Nice to see you this evening. Hello, Adam. It's not a missile. It's an old junk fighter jet that was refurbished as a drone. Oh, give me a break. Come on, man. Whatever. I know the tip. It's not a 767, I assure you. Yeah, she said cops. So, Wintard, you're welcome to call and talk about how many cops that you think you could take on. Oh, of course she didn't say that. Wintard would never be so rude as to say that. She's a fine young woman who would never, ever say such a thing. How dare you? Alaska Airlines, concerned about a passenger's health, kicks her off the plane so she can miss her chemo appointments? Alaska Airlines, wow.
Dave, I got a call from Mike Maurice. Do you know anybody like that?
No, I don't know Mike. Why?
From 503 area, he said, it's Mike Maurice. Call 503.
Why would I talk about somebody like that?
I don't know. He just called me. He called me.
Well, if your phone is online, then you better get it offline.
I don't know where it is. It's probably...
No, I mean, your phone number should not be online.
It might be.
Oh, you gotta get it off the line, baby.
It might be in 7 or 10 different places.
You can't do that. No. Yeah, I told you that you can't do that. If you want security, you can't have your phone number online. Okay, any other questions? Feel free to call 707 your ATP. David, I did not... What are you saying? Yeah. Ski, I'm afraid you're underestimating the size of my balls. Yeah. Yeah, I was born with massive balls. Bigger than you'll ever even imagine. It's one step away from elephant ballitis. No, I don't even trust anybody who says they're an NSA agent right now. Of course I manscape. I'm a metrosexual. Who wouldn't? Yes, I was. And they were descended when I was born. I'm trying to be serious, 179, but so many people don't take anything seriously because, number one, they're like Robin Williams right before he hung himself on the closet. Everything's a joke until the final minute when you just give it all up. Of course, we have ample room in the compound for our family members. Yeah, please, no fag talk here. I appreciate that. I know. That is what America has come to. Nobody cares anymore. Thank you. I'm not talking about blimps tonight. This is strictly talking about the 9/11 cover-up. Now, a California woman has said that she was kicked off Alaska Airlines because she has cancer. Nice. From our affiliate KTLA in Los Angeles, here she is. TV airline passenger chemo victim talks about her experience. Our affiliate in Chicago, Brian Williams, are you there? Oh, you're fired? I'm sorry. We can't get Brian on the phone here.
An airline passenger claims that she was kicked off her plane simply because she has cancer.
And the woman was removed from an Alaska Airlines flight from Hawaii. And as Mark Mester reports, the ordeal caused her to miss 2 chemotherapy sessions.
Wow.
Elizabeth Sedway is recording the moment she describes as one of the most embarrassing of her entire life.
And I'm being removed as if I'm a criminal or contagious.
Sedway, her 2 sons and husband are all getting kicked off an Alaska Airlines flight from Kauai to San Jose. Sedway suffers from multiple myeloma, which is a bone marrow cancer. When she arrived at the airport on Monday, she took advantage of the airline's wheelchair service and says airline officials became skeptical at the gate when she put on a surgical mask to protect from germs, something Sedway says she does frequently when flying. That's when airline officials asked if she was okay.
Said, "Are you okay? Can we get you anything? How are you feeling?" I said, "I'm good. Maybe I could use a little extra time to go down the gangway. Sometimes I feel a little weak." The fact.
See, her big mistake is she should have said, I smell lots of flatulence, and I'm wearing this because I don't want to smell flatulence, you know? I mean, you have the right to protect your mouth when you're going on a plane. You realize the planes are like a cesspool of a non-filtered, potentially dangerous air? No, believe it or not, Ski, 30% of our population are not homosexual. The number of people in a homosexual population is more like 5%. So losing the homosexual vote is equivalent to losing the extreme right-wing, hostile white supremacist vote. It's not that big of a deal. But it's not to say I discriminate, because I don't discriminate against gays, lesbians, bi, or transgender. I never have. But yeah, if you have the right to not breathe foul air. No, I'm not against fags. I definitely think you guys can do whatever you want to do in the privacy of your own whatever. I ever tried a cop or two? No, I've never got involved with cops. I try to avoid the idea of a cop pulling me over. Well, it's no big deal to lose the gay vote. No, it isn't. It's okay. They're very wealthy, though. They would gladly pay the Democrats tons of money because they don't have kids themselves in general. Some of them do, but they're adopted. Okay, you want to talk to you about psychology and IQ to get you up to speed. Okay, sure. What about IQ and psychology is valid? Because there doesn't seem to be anything valid about IQ or psychology. I mean, I've met a lot of smart people that are barely functional working at Walmart going, "Hi, welcome to Walmart. How are you?" And they make a lot of money. If I had been at Walmart these past 6 years, I would have made $80,000. I'm not reading this. I just read your chat, but I'm not reading this. I read fast, yes. I read a lot of words per second. The people of Walmart stand up in pride, knowing that they can't have a private union. They also can't sue Walmart in a class action lawsuit. And they can barely get to work twice a day because they're being told to come in and out on double shifts. What's happening in Walmart is human exploitation. And Barack Obama doesn't care. Michelle Obama doesn't care about the employees at Walmart. I do. I see them working all the time, busting their butts. You know that Walmart takes out life insurance policies on people that are weak and feeble? You know that? Against their knowledge. They don't even know that they have a life insurance policy. So if you're dying and go to Walmart for a job, they'll hire you in a second. Well, Walmart's still a good place to save money. Yeah, come on in.
It was somebody that found my number online. So.
Well, yeah, try to keep your number offline.
They can't, but they can't. There's no identifying voice on the other side.
That's a classic sign of a hack call coming in. Hack call coming in from cell phone land. I gave up my cell phone. Oh, I was going to ask you. You know this has a speakerphone. So
I know. I'd like to find it one day, but I don't know where it is. It's probably some really easy thing that I haven't found.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe I could just hit a button.
We need to find that out.
While I'm on the phone, I could just hit a button. But I don't use it a lot. I'm
oh,
not
yeah,
on my phone a lot.
Holding this phone up in your head
Well,
will cause cancer over time.
I talked to a guy, and he said, yeah, it would take a lot of time, but you might get it.
Well, yeah, I met a guy who got it, and he said I had a cell phone back in the early days of the cell phone industry. He said, yeah, and I have brain cancer, man. And then just recently, the director of the World Health Organization said, yeah,
I know.
It definitely contributes to cancer. It definitely contributes.
Just like they gave us tobacco long ago, found out it killed us. Then they're saying this killed us, and then 10 years down the road, they'll say sugar was poison, and we shouldn't have been eating it. I mean, all these things, that happen. That we're told.
Well, we're trying to find out, yeah. Slow down, Connie, damn it. Slow down.
What am I going too fast?
Now we are talking, David, you look like president. Before your jacket and shirt, you look like a Mexican.
He doesn't look Mexican. He looks like a Norwegian guy.
I appreciate that, but yeah, I definitely believe that you got to dress for success, and it's a nominal amount of effort for me to put on a shirt and tie and a jacket to do a show.
I can never replace Sarah. Sarah is her very own personality entity. She's a very separate, wonderful, intelligent speaker, and she really addresses different things than I do. Much different. She has a different way of thinking.
David, to do the speaker, you need to be on the call, and then on the screen it will say either the top left or the top right button. Okay.
Oh, when you're on the call.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we don't want anybody to call
Well, let me
us.
call you right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm going to call her right now.
We'll get this speaker yet.
Everybody on my phone list is either dead or no longer a friend of mine, so I should get rid of them all,
I'm always single, I'm always single. We are always single, all of us. We just happen to get a partner, some of us.
I'm wearing professional right now.
It's ringing.
Okay, let me hit accept. Okay, and then options. Speaker on, right here.
Okay, great. Okay, talk to me.
Top right.
You got it, big dude.
We are here.
All right.
Testing. No, don't put it near your ear. No, hold it away.
Hold it away.
She's got to learn to hold it away.
So the minute
She's
I
holding
get
it in her ear.
I go,
I'm holding this near my ear, right? Okay, you get the
crazy.
message.
Thank you, but what did you do? Can you teach it to me?
Yeah, I'll do it again. Hang on.
I didn't have my glasses on.
Okay, here we
I
go.
didn't have my
We're going to do a
glasses
test run here. I'm trying to save her. You got it, big dude.
All right, get my glasses on.
Well, let's be clear. Okay, we're going to call you right now.
I'm secretary to the president. My name is Zelda.
Thank you, Zelda.
President to the president.
One ringy dingy. She'll be my press secretary.
80-year-old woman, Zelda. Reject, no, accept. Accept, and then.
And right here.
Speaker on. Oh my God! Oh my God!
Keep it,
Zelda loves it.
Keep it a foot away.
I'm so happy to be president secretary. Thank you.
Keep it a foot away.
Kind of a cross between Jerry Lewis and Joan Rivers.
I urge all of you to do this because, frankly, if you keep that phone next to your head, even these cell phone, these cordless phones, like I've got here, like a 10-year-old cordless phone, you got to keep it a foot or two away when you talk. Seriously, brain cancer is serious stuff.
And folks. I could text if I was an idiot. See, look at, I got the whole little thing for texting. And I could text while I'm driving.
Yeah.
And I saw a girl texting while she walked and a car hit her.
You're all set there, buddy. Yeah.
Here's Zelda, and that's the new president. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we just hang out together, Zelda
Can
and
I take some notes, President, please? What's the letter to go? Who's the letter going to today?
I keep an incompetent secretary around just so I can defer emails. Like Hillary, she erases emails. I just defer them to Zelda.
Let's write a letter to Putin. I say we write a letter to Putin.
I say Putin needs a letter.
You
know, Barack Obama will not actually talk to Putin in a summit meeting. Many people are saying, why don't you set up a summit meeting with Vladimir Putin? Wouldn't that be great? But no, he's too bruised. His ego is too bruised. We've got a real shallow-minded person for president.
Sad to say. He likes to golf, right?
Okay, you know a guy who told you that Walmart hires staff to come in after midnight to change labels on clothes, etc., to make it look like they are products made in America and Canada. Are you serious, really, Lil?
No,
Well, that's inside information. I can't verify that.
Sarah's not in the kitchen. She's busy working on all the things she works on, which is a lot. She's very busy.
Yeah, well, Barack Obama had his emails hacked. Everything at the White House was hacked by Russia in 2014. And they found out that he actually... Really?
We did a comedy routine.
Adam and Wood. Okay, great. Thank you.
Somebody grabbed it.
We are actually... No kidding. Thanks. We are actually dealing with a president who... I'm sure Russia was shocked to find out he went from the golf course to his friend Reggie Love to play basketball onto the teleprompter where he spoke for 5 minutes and then went back and drank light beer and dark beer.
With Reggie Love.
There's not a lot of top secret activity that the Russians got a hold of. Trust me. This guy is basically a superficial puppet president.
Why would you have an assistant named Love?
Well, Reggie Love.
Reggie Love. Something's got to be crazy.
Well, let's be clear.
That's crazy.
That's nothing to look at, hash mashed potato. I'm going to ask you to kindly stop posting that garbage.
What is he posting?
Because if you post it one more time, I will ban you. Okay? Just so you know.
How to use a phone?
Well, what he was trying to do is pretend like I was some sort of a transgender.
Oh, Ronnie.
Pretending to be Sarah.
I'll be Nancy. Oh, Ronnie, you're so cute. Oh,
Nancy,
Ronnie.
I know that the astrologist told us to get a Valium, but I don't believe that you should be on Valium. After all, it's just say no to drugs, Nancy.
He said Viagra, dear, not Valium.
Oh, it was Viagra. Well, that was because I wasn't able to get it up.
Oh, you're so funny, Ronnie.
Reagan,
Mr. President, tear down those pants of yours and... Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
I think that was going to happen anyway. The East German people were fed up. They were going to take that wall down.
They were. The whole East German thing was collapsing. They didn't have any jobs. And now Angela Merkel is still dealing with those jobs in Eastern Germany that is now part of Germany.
Why is Angela Merkel still in power?
Because she's a communist. Everyone knows communists are very greedy and want to control the world. We know that.
You know how many different parties there are in Germany? There's like a million different parties in Germany, but we still get Angela Merkel. So, anyway.
Well, she obviously doesn't have a good relationship with Greece right now because Greece is dragging the EU down pretty hard.
And we're waiting though, the 9th or the 9th or the 11th. I think it's the 9th, and today is what, the 5th, the 7th.
Yeah.
Today's the 7th.
We're waiting for Greece.
We're waiting, and if Greece makes the decision that they will not pay back the IMF, then other countries are going to go, hey, I want to do that too. And all of Europe will totally change, and we'll have a new era, Dave.
Yeah, new era. Where the cash will reign supreme. You'll all have $1. With a lot of white paper underneath. You'll have $1 with a lot of white paper worshipping the Illuminati.
I've never seen $1 that looks like that green. Oh my God, I want $1. Can you pay me more, Mr. President? Please pay me more.
She'd be a great comedy kick, to play off of, like Jerry Lewis. Oh!
That was like Jerry Lewis and Joan Rivers together.
It could be Jerry Lewis and Joan Rivers.
Yeah,
what do you think of Joan Rivers? Do you think Joan Rivers was killed? Truth. I
want to do an imitation.
Do you think Joan Rivers was killed because of what she said about Michelle? Well, let me get Joan Rivers in here, and you could actually.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that scene, Dave.
Well, let me do the scene right now. Hang on. I'm going to bring it up for you.
She looks at the camera and goes, "Oh, you don't know? Everybody knows. Everybody knows."
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Let's do Joan Rivers, folks, talking about Michelle's Obama being a tranny. Yeah,
Michelle's a tranny.
Yeah, it's
everybody
okay.
Knows.
It's everybody knows.
Poor Joan. She didn't know that she shouldn't have said that.
If you haven't seen this, folks, I know the mainstream media won't play it, but I think it's worthy of Joan to do this.
I'll do it.
Miss Rivers, how are you?
Okay, now I'm going to bring you in to the show. Hang on.
Oh, it's going to be a double screen.
Yes.
I want to do her face.
I can't get her picture.
No, she's a tranny. She's a tranny. Everybody knows.
You're pretty close.
Everybody knows she's a tranny, for God's sake. You don't know?
Here, I got it.
You got it.
Now you can show it, Dave.
Okay, hang on. See, very close. Yeah. Okay, Joan, bring it on, Joan. Let's hear it.
How are you, Joan? She'll say.
You made a ton of news officiating the wedding in New York yesterday. Is this like a new cottage career move for you?
I'm so excited.
Okay.
And I should do very well because I don't choke.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
a transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
Doesn't matter.
It's okay. Don't calm down. Calm down.
Poor Joan. You know, and Sarah and I turned to each other that day and said, she's going to be dead in 1.5 months. We actually said that to each other. We're on camera saying that. She's going to be dead in 1.5 months. And lo and behold, she was dead in 1.5 months.
You guys predicted. You have intuitive sense.
We must have had psychic abilities.
But
or
I think
you
you know what happens when you speak up when you're not supposed to.
Well, what I'm telling you, honestly, is we've got a problem. You know, if the lawsuit Melissa Rivers files, and she's filing it right now against the Yorkville Clinic, endoscopy clinic, if it proves that Yorkville was in the wrong and they did this purposely or neglected to get a signature on it, it wasn't even asked for. She didn't want a biopsy of her vocal cords. I mean, hello, they killed her. You understand?
Yeah, but they had a guy in there that was not supposed to be in there. He did not have authorization, but he said, hey, I'm with this entourage, and it was very confusing. I think there was a confusing moment there. And
it was an illegal biopsy.
The daughter has to get to the bottom of it.
It was an illegal. It was a He was an illegal biopsy, is what it was. Well, I'm telling you that her death marks the end of an era, and be sure to hold that phone outside of your head there.
You know what? I'm not going to answer it. I know who it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It could be somebody I don't want to talk to.
Doesn't matter. She would have lived to be 100. Joan Rivers looked like a 25-year-old woman. Haven't you? You want to see a picture of her again? Well, the truth is, she died 1.5 months later, like we predicted. You know.
And she died beautiful.
She did. The most beautiful corpse in the morgue.
Everything lifted and tied at the top of her head.
She had a lot of energy. I know. I don't care if she had surgery to look that. Do you think I look like this normally? You want to see my face before the surgery?
Show that bug from yesterday. An oval bug.
Okay, I'm going to show you a picture of what I look like before all this facial recognition
David has
surgery.
access to every kind of horrible thing you can possibly imagine.
I don't want to, it's not something I'm proud of, but I do want to show you what I looked like before they got to the knife and really fixed me up.
The guy in the hood from last night. that guy that looks like his dad. Oh my God.
I think it's worthwhile to take a look at.
That's a good one. Why see a good one there?
I look like this guy before I was altered.
Isn't that the guy on, what was it called?
This is David Soul.
Yeah, but what's the name of the series?
Starsky and Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch. I never watched it.
Yeah, so.
You look just like him. Oh my God!
I kind of look like him.
Yeah. And you look much better now. That was before.
That was before my facial reconstruction surgery.
Then you got improvement. Yeah. Do that
I look like the elephant
man. Do
me,
Dave. Get a beautiful woman in there.
Okay. I'm a human being.
For God's sake.
I'm not an animal.
Who said that?
That was the elephant man.
Oh, did he? Oh.
William Hurt.
Look at that guy down in the lower right. Maybe he looks like you.
Okay. This is another one of my lookalikes, William Catt, the guy who was the greatest American hero.
Catt, yeah. What did he do again?
Great American Hero, I think it was.
Greatest American Hero. I think I saw him in a couple things. Yeah, you look better than him though.
Well, yeah, but he was older than me, by far.
Mm-hmm. Oh, isn't that interesting how you can do that?
Hi, how are you?
That's great. I think it's great. Okay, what else other conspiracy? This is Truth Tuesday, so
this is Truth Tuesday.
We have to come up with more truths.
Okay, yeah. Let me show you the picture that I wanted to show you originally.
I have one truth I want to make sure people know tonight.
Let me get a good picture that you could mold around. Let's see if we can play that.
Oh, I love that one. I love that one. That was me before plastic surgery. Now, this woman is wealthy and she married a young guy.
Yeah.
I can't get over this. This is what happens when you have money. It doesn't matter what you look like. You can get a husband.
Okay. The money is really what you're all about, guys. I'm not about money. I'm not here like this guy, Frank, the beggar. I'm not here to beg for money. I don't want donations unless you want to make a donation, okay? I'm talking about how our country is revolving around money. Let's get serious for a second, okay? Now, you know that the people, the wealthy people of the world have unlimited sources of money. You know that, right? They have anonymity. Everybody knows that the wealthy people, they also have a very good reason to get rid of all of us. They don't need us. They can continue to make money on their money. They could have robots replace human beings. So not only do the rich people of the world, super rich, I'm saying, I don't mean people poppers like Bill Gates. I'm talking about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. People with money upon money upon money.
Yeah, you get bored. You don't know what to do. There's nothing left. You know, an ice cream cone is meaningless. And if I get an ice cream cone once a week, I feel so grateful. But, you know, a Rothschild getting an ice cream cone, they can have one every hour if they want to.
They don't
so
need
pretty
us.
soon everything's boring to them.
They don't need us. They really don't. So they have the means and the reason, modus operandi, to get rid of the human race. Just so you know this, okay? We, Americans, don't have a lobbying group. We don't have the means to stop their power. We don't even have the means or the desire to get rid of these people or put them in jail because we can't even think collectively. So we basically are screwed. Human beings on this earth are going to fall to the ultimate problem with the human species, which is money, greed. The love of money is the root of all evil.
I have something we should revolve back there, David, and it's not money.
Well,
Let's
we can bring out what
good.
really matters.
How about a teddy bear? Revolve a teddy bear.
I got something that is actually more important than money, believe it or not.
Something that's a feely-goody.
Yeah, I've got a real feel-goody picture here that is more important than money. It trumps money. It's called the Earth.
Oh, green and blue. Yes, it's beautiful.
Well, I don't want the money behind you. I want to talk about the Earth because that's what's really fragile right now, and that's what's really kind of in jeopardy. And I'm gonna do that. And it's gonna be behind us, and I'm gonna get rid of the money. Because frankly, this is way more important than money.
Oh, you have, to answer Strukunen. If the police approach you in a hostile way, just relax and just smile and be polite. Be polite, because they usually have control issues, and if you're polite, that makes them feel better. Okay. And just remember what your rights are. You do have the right to remain silent.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't have to answer any questions at all.
You can remain silent when pulled over by the cops.
You have that right, and you should have that divine right anyway, without somebody telling you have a right.
Yeah, now this is interesting. Lull says the young wealthy people are mysteriously dying and getting new identities. Why is that, Dave? Because they know that their identities have been blown. Absolutely, little junkie. We're not licking our lips in an inordinate amount.
He's just making some comment out of his
Maybe he thinks you're a reptilian or something. Oh. USA is a corporation constitution.
See, there's noticing that I have a voiceover thing on 123 Voice. Yeah, it's there.
Wow, they're doing deep research.
Yeah, they're researching me the minute I say.
Now you're going to expect weird calls.
So I'm going to let you close the show because I should take my leave. Bye-bye.
Bye so much. Thank you for coming in, Connie. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Cops do know how to intimidate, man. It's scary when you get pulled over by a cop, I had a plainclothes cop pull me over one day because he felt that I made an illegal left turn. And he didn't even have a police car. And in the state of Washington, it's legal to have unmarked cars and pull people over. Tell me that can't be abused. I mean, how many people are going out and getting Hemis and running around in Chrysler big Chargers and pretending to be cops right now? You got to wonder. So we don't really understand why these plain rap cops are even allowed to operate. But I had one guy walk up to me and said he was a detective in the local Oak Harbor Police Department, and he felt that I made an illegal left turn, but he wasn't going to charge me. I said, well, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. He claimed I made a left too soon, that I got in the left turn lane too soon. It was all discretionary. But you never, ever talk back to a cop. That's your first order of business. Okay? Well, buying a Hemi in a Charger is what I was referring to. That's what these things have. God, are you the OCD guy who comes in here and threatens to, attack me on a nightly basis? Because it sounds like you are. Well, you take the high road for sure and try to, but also admit that, you want to do better. Be a good suck up, and then you won't get pulled over anymore. A Charger has a Hemi, that is correct. If the Democrats have the whole system sewn up, what's the point of voting? Because they don't. They've lost 2 midterm elections, 792. We've got a voter revolt going on in America, believe it or not. Believe me, I would have won an election in the midterms had an independent party been allowed to get into the process. But we don't even have that. We don't even have a chance to get into the process. You're the American voter, and you're the only one who can make this happen. I can't make it happen on my own. If you want to download my website, davidsponheim.com, that has this image on it, you can print it up on your at your local Office Max for $1.33. You can print up 11 by 17 cardstock color Xerox and print this up and put it out there. Well, make no mistake about it. Police brutality is wrong. But, Obama hasn't done anything to stop it. What about bro jobs? Yeah, I know. Well, jobs aren't being created at all, right, by Barack Obama. We have a plan to create lots of jobs in America. Our Homestead Renewal Plan will give you a $10 an hour job guaranteed no matter whether you have training or not. You could even make more if you have plumbing or carpentry experience or electrical experience fixing up houses in America. We've got a plan to do that. Okay, cool. We've also got a plan to legalize marijuana and increase a massive amount of growth in our private sector. The Democrats are effectively fascistic. Well, I'm asking all of you to leave the Democratic Party and get behind what we're doing. It's that simple. You think selling plasma is a job, really? The media is fanning the flame of racism. I agree, 666. Yep, good point. They want to drive a wedge between the blacks and the whites. They want to create factionalism because, believe me, divided we fall, united we stand, and they want to divide us. They'll do everything. They'll get men hating women, blacks hating whites, vice versa, Hispanics hating Asians. I mean, they'll do anything they can to mix this up and break up any unity we might have in our country. I went head on into this incredible propaganda machine with a very powerful video that has yet really moved on YouTube because YouTube is run by the NSA. YouTube I ran as a Democrat in the last election, or favors Democrat. Not as a Democrat, but I ran as favors Democrat in the last election because I wanted to put them to the test. I wanted to see where they stood. And they showed me exactly what they did. The Democrats stole 90% of my signs, and the Republicans did. No, she's just visiting, Lavender Grave. The Democrats vilified me in the foreign press, and did everything they could to shut me down. I was just playing. Because frankly, I can say what I may prefer to be Republican next election. I may just play with them. You're allowed in Washington State to do whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. They can't hold you to it. And since we didn't have a third party in Washington State formed, officially, I ran as preferred Democrat because I was a Democrat for 30 years. I've already done that. I've done a minstrel show. I've done everything I can. They will not elevate me on YouTube. We are basically censored. All of our videos are censored. We went from 20,000 hits a week in 2011 to 20 hits a week today. And it's not because our hit counters are people just not referencing it. We've got no cross support in the tags. They don't give us any tag support at all. Okay, Tony's on. Tony, what's up? Tony.
Hey, what's happening, Phil? What are you doing? What's the subject tonight? Hey, did you look into any of the OPEC stuff, man? OPEC is all messed up.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason that the dollar's worth anything. The petrodollar, you know what I mean? Every country's, currency is backed by the dollar because they can only buy oil in dollars.
Yeah, I got the
Like
petrodollar.
Iran, part of OPEC. Venezuela, you said that they...
What are you worried about, man? I mean, you're paying $2 a gallon for gas. Seriously, what are you griping about? You come in here griping about the petrodollar all the time.
Why are you getting mad at me, dude?
No, I'm just, you're griping about the petrodollar. I mean...
of the dollar, because the only reason that's valuable is because we run OPEC. OPEC sells their oil in dollars. That's the only reason the dollar has any value in the world.
No, it's not the only reason. I tried to explain that to you. No. It's not the only reason. I told you that. You know...
If you look it up, Dave, listen, can I just talk? If you look it up, the dollar has gone bankrupt how many times back when FDR, when they took all the gold? The dollar went bankrupt. When Nixon was in office, that's when we had OPEC to start trading oil in dollars.
Look at the Bretton Woods Agreement was something that was a pact between nations, 45 nations locked in on a gold-backed dollar back in 1944. It lasted all the way to 1971 when Nixon did the Nixon shock.
But with all that, Dave, they kept bringing it down like, oh, we'll pay you back like 50% of what we owe you in gold. Then it was just gone.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when the Federal Reserve gets involved and they print up lots and lots of money.
The Federal Reserve is bad, man. I'm 100%
I'm with you,
but
man.
I'm worried
I'm with
about,
you.
like, our country's currency's future, because the only reason it has any value is because of OPEC. Why does the dollar have value then? If it's not the petrodollar, how does the dollar have any world value?
Oh, well, gee,
I don't
thank
know.
you for asking. I appreciate it because I've told you 6 times in various forums through the past chat sessions. Okay, let's take this out. U.S. John McCain. I will tell you, our economy is the largest consumer economy in the world. Is that a good starter?
Yeah, we consume, and the only reason people accept dollars and let us buy stuff from them is because every country is backed by the dollar and they buy oil in dollars. Without that, how are we going to buy anything from anyone?
We have a world currency. We have a world currency that is buoyant on many levels, not just the OPEC and the petrodollar scenario. The petrodollar is a major part of what we're doing here, but in no way are we the only is OPEC the only producer of oil, nor are we that vulnerable if OPEC says screw you.
OPEC is the top countries in the world, the top oil producing countries. That's what OPEC is.
Yeah, we know that. U.S. Senator John McCain announced he's running for a 6th term as a senator. Good for him.
Stick to the subject for a minute, Dave. I don't know why you're getting mad.
I'm not going to drift. I'm not getting mad at all. I'm trying to focus. Let me take another call.
Call from
Precious.
to add this caller to your current call. 5.
Precious, how are you? Don Tony's on with Precious. Go ahead, Don Tony. What were you saying again?
Hello, but could you explain to me what gives the dollar value in the world other than OPEC? How is the dollar value?
I tried to explain to you, we are the largest consumer nation in the world. Our money, look, we got more cash rolling in this country than any American cash than any other country combined. 23% of all the American cash is right here in America. You can go ahead and believe what you want. You want to see the end of the dollar, don't you? It seems like you see the doom and demise of the dollar every day.
I know it's coming. That's the only...
Your dollar is not disappearing. Are you a Ron Paul supporter? Are you completely of the belief that your dollar is worthless?
Ron Paul is a fraud. I come up with my own conclusions with my own research, and OPEC's in trouble.
Okay.
I think OPEC is like, we put all these sanctions on like certain members of OPEC because they hate us. They don't want to deal with us anymore.
Oh yeah, Saudi Arabia hates us. Yeah. Oh yeah, Saudi Arabia hates us. That's why they're our strongest trading partner in the region. I mean, what is your problem, man? Wake up. Wake up.
Iraq hates us.
We've got a good relationship with Saudi Arabia. Why do you think that we have a trading relationship in the Middle East? Why do you think you're paying $2 a gallon, Don? Don, why do you think you're paying? No, because Saudi Arabia is pumping tons of oil right now, and your gas is flowing, man. What are you complaining about? Come on, I want to listen to Precious. Go ahead, Precious. No, not yet, Don Tony. I want to listen to Precious. Let's listen to Precious for a second. Go ahead, Precious.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not really weighing in on that subject, but I just wanted to find out. Drag King, are you single? And if you are, call me.
Drag King Precious wants to hook up with you. Okay. Okay, back to you, Don Tony. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm saying is, okay, like, look at, we're producing all this oil. That's why the gas is cheap right now. It should be a lot cheaper. Before Bush went into Iraq, what was it, like $1 a gallon? But anyways.
Whatever. You shouldn't complain about gas.
We're producing all this oil. Everybody is. All these countries, that's why they're mass producing. That's why it's cheap.
Well, it's going to be. It is cheap, yeah, and they're doing a good job. Saudi Arabia is maintaining a large supply, and it's the reason why your gas is not $6 a gallon, man. Do you realize in other countries they're paying $8, $7 a gallon? I mean,
major country.
Well, our dollar is still very strong, man.
More barrels a day.
Okay, Precious, thank you. The reason the oil price is available as a political lever now is simply this: America has massively increased its own oil generation, and is no longer as beholden to Arab states. That is correct. And as we grew in oil, the Arab states felt a little bit pressured by our oil production increasing 12% last year, and they upped their supply. So we are seeing a definite natural reduction in the price of oil due to supply. It's not some plan
Okay,
necessarily.
we're getting off subject, though.
I'm not drifting from the subject. Our dollar is still strong. Can you still go to Best Buy and spend $500 on a nice LED TV, Don?
Where'd that LED come from, Dave? A different country.
Just answer
So
my
we're gonna
question.
do
Yes or no, can you? Just answer my question. Yes or no, can you buy an
How are we
LED
gonna
TV
buy-
for $500? Yes, you can.
Yeah, not a smart TV, a cheaper. Okay.
But yes, you
Okay, all right, number one,
Yes, we can.
Can I respond to this? Number one, that television came from China or Japan. Now, how are we going to buy these products from China and Japan when they no longer need dollars to buy oil to run their countries?
I don't see China or Japan drifting from America. Do you know how much money China has invested in the U.S.? They own rail cars full of $100 bills, dude. They're not going to abandon our currency.
Okay, why would they take our money? Is backed by nothing, Dave. The only
Dude.
is
You know, this argument is a nowhere argument. We are living in a country which, look, money is a form of conveyance. People use money and they put value in money, therefore it has value. Now you can blame everything on the petrodollar, but you're missing the key point here. If you get an agreement, Don, if you're going to talk over me, I'm not going to take your call. God, I mean, we all use money. We all are banking on some benefit from money. Money itself obviously is a conveyance that people use, and we are definitely going to have a lot of inertia and momentum simply because we all recognize cash, okay? Bottom line. You may be right in your own mind, Tony, but in reality, we are all using money on a daily basis, okay? You want to think it's worthless, okay? But we are all still using money. You want that money to just disappear and tank or something. I'm not sure what you want. But I can tell you that the reliance on the petrodollar solely as a form of currency is a weak reliance. I agree with you there, okay? But we need to start insulating our dollar from the world markets and the petrol concern that you have. That's a small portion of the value of our money. The petrodollar aspect is a small portion of it. But because we are the largest consumer nation in the world, with more money, more cash, U.S. cash than any other country, we basically have a lot of power there. It may be backed by nothing, Tony, but that's not the point. If you want to take your dollar out and trade it for gold, it's not going to happen. Okay? Sorry to blow your bubble, but that's a long time ago. That was the case. Okay? When the Federal Reserve took over our country's central banking, they basically went on their own and produced a tremendous amount of leverage against our value of our dollar. That has not changed. We're still looking at the Federal Reserve operating within our country. I would like to phase them out. I'd like to retire their charter. I would like to see another denomination. Not to replace all of our denominations, just some other denomination, like a $3 bill, where people could put money into that $3 bill. And that could be backed by a broad spectrum, gold, silver, even liquid hydrogen could be a backing, or platinum. So our country could make some changes to adapt to the petrodollar shrinking, but you're like an either or guy, man. It's either your way or the highway. Go ahead.
Accept, press 1. To send a voice
We're at the end of the show, Tony. Any last words here?
Yeah, I don't want to argue with you. I like you, Dave. Could you, all right, listen, I just
I'm not
want
arguing.
to do things and then please illuminate me. If I'm wrong, I want to know what's right. So these countries that we consume from and buy, like consumer staples and televisions, all that stuff, they use the money we give them, the dollar, to buy oil for their country. Now, when they can't buy oil anymore with dollars because OPEC doesn't sell oil in dollars, why are they going to want our dollars? Why are they going to trade with us?
Wow, you know, this is news to me. When did OPEC stop taking U.S. currency? Wow, you're really onto something there. Boy, you're real smart there, Don. When did OPEC decide that they didn't want U.S. currency? Could you bring me up to speed here? And what world are you living in? I mean, seriously.
All right, here, can I explain?
Sure.
OPEC, a lot of OPEC countries have sanctions on them from America. They don't like us. Gaddafi tried to get all these guys, the members of OPEC, to go against us.
And where's Gaddafi now? Where's Gaddafi now? Where's Gaddafi now?
He got killed.
Where's Saddam Hussein now? Where's Saddam Hussein? I mean, need I go farther? We've got the strongest military power in the world, Tony.
That's an economic attack.
Look, we've got more military weapons than 99% of the entire world combined. I mean, seriously, what are you worried about, dude? We could coast and still be ahead of the rest of the world.
I think that's the future, Dave. OPEC's going to stop selling oil in dollars. And I'm just saying...
We ramp up production. Don't worry about it. You're freaking out, man.
If OPEC... Dave, please. If OPEC stops selling oil in dollars, then why will other countries want our dollars? How will they have value?
Well, number one, you cannot think everything is black or white. You got to realize that there's a lot of gray area in here, and I would ask you to start realizing there's not just one thing holding up the U.S. dollar like you think, the petrodollar. There's a lot of things holding up the dollar.
Please, because we don't produce anything here, really.
Oh, no, we don't make F-35s and F-18s and F-9. We don't create the largest number of weapons in the world. No, we don't. You're right.
Consumer staples.
What the hell are you talking about, man? We bring our consumer staples in and we sell military hardware. That's what the country is surprisingly making money on. Wake up, man.
And how are we the biggest consumer in the world, Dave?
Because we have tons of money in this country. We have tons of money in the country, man. You know how much money this country is sitting on?
I didn't answer my question.
Oh, man, you're over the top with your reactionary thinking. You need to toggle back a little bit and relax.
It's a question.
Take a nice Sunday drive in your car and pay $2.50 a gallon, man. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for the call, Tony. What's your question?
Buddy, other than the petrodollar, other than the dollars being sold in oil, like, say that's gone, what gives the dollar value? It's not backed by anything. What gives it value?
All right, asking the same question over and over again is not going to get an answer when I've already answered you 4 times. Other than the petrodollar, our country has a tremendous amount of inertia, consumerism, money being spent. There's a service economy that's very vibrant, way more than India. Even though India has a population of 1.1 billion, we have a population of 310 million where we've got illegal aliens making enough money to send 45 billion out of our country. So there's a ton of money here. Why do you think we have all these people wanting to come into America? So don't worry about America and money, okay? And with the American government obviously unable to cut the budget, we're going to be facing a fiscal crisis every single election year. So we, as an American people, need to figure out how to get this thing running appropriately so that we can toggle back the expenses so we make our dollar stronger. Yes, we do need to create new exports that'll strengthen our dollar. Yes, we are already doing that with more oil production. We're already strengthening our dollar with oil production. We have a 12% increase in oil over the past year. We have a possibility of hempoline and hemp products being made in America once I legalize marijuana, and we can start growing in production there, and our dollar will get stronger and will continue to be the world currency. It's not going to change. You know, if you really live in that world of fear, Tony, or whoever you are, you're going to end up becoming afraid all your life. You'll never feel comfortable. You'll always be worried. You probably, all of you, have enough resources in your own mind to survive. Rich people don't have that luxury. They freak out when they lose money. You know how to survive. You're the American people. You don't need to worry too much about money per se, because you know how to survive. You know how to get ahead, even though you're not making a lot of money. So the American people have tools in their tool chest that the elitists don't have. So if the dollar does collapse, people will get creative. A mixed economy will emerge. People will use more barter. A lot of things happen when things get tough. And the American people are survivors. Yes, we do. Yes, you do. Lavender Grape, she knows how to grow food in her backyard. She has all kinds of abilities that most people don't have. And it's not the Don Tony show. And I try to explain that to him, but he's living and breathing fear. And we don't want you to be fearful. We want you to be reliant on what you know is true. Now, you know you can live within your means, even at your level, and you can start to get ahead. The elitists can't do that. The elitists are actually the ones freaking out here. I'm a U.S. citizen. If you go to www.americasthirdparty.com/about, you can see my birth certificate. Okay? Up close and personal. Analyze it. All right, so this has been a very healthy conversation. I'm not arguing with you, Tony. This is the way I normally talk to people. So I'm sorry if you feel I was arguing with you. All right, you want to talk too? You off the show? Please answer. No, Tony, I'm not going to talk on the phone after the show. The show is ostensibly over for tonight, but tomorrow comes Wasteful Wednesday. You can call in, and we can talk about government waste and how we can get that under control, because frankly, our government is wasting tons of money. The more our government saves money, the more likely we'll be bolstering the value of our dollar. The more efficient our government is, the better our dollar will be. So if you want to talk about how we're going to improve the dollar, great. If you don't, you want to talk about the fear of the collapsing OPEC and frankly, you can live in that world forever and ever and never solve a single problem in your life. But we at America's Third Party believe that there are solutions, and you can start telling people, friends and family, about a third party and change the dynamic of American politics. You've been listening to America's Third Party, the happening place to talk about issues from both the left and the right. We are centrists. You make the best kraut candy rain. Cool. Sauerkraut is very good for long-term survival. I didn't get offended, Tony. I'm trying to answer your questions and you talk over everybody, man. Realize you can't always talk over everything somebody says. I yell all the time, Tony. I thought you were from New York. When you go out looking for a hot dog and you say, hey, I didn't like the pickles and you don't got any sauerkraut here, and you have a big argument with your hot dog guy, can you handle that, New Yorker? Come on. You got better, stronger skin than that, Tony. You can live with the little argumentation now and then. I thought you were a New Yorker. I'm not West Coast. I was born and raised both on the East and the West Coast. I summered on the East Coast. All right, this has been fun. But tomorrow is going to be brutal. I'm going to try to slash $1 trillion off our budget and show you how to do that. But we need to make some major changes in the way we conduct business. And currently, allowing illegal aliens to pour in over the border like the Democrats are doing is absolute craziness, lunacy. Trying to strike a deal with Iran and letting them develop a nuclear weapon in 366 days, one day after a year, that's crazy too. So I agree with the Republicans that are against that. And I got to tell you, the Republicans don't have all the answers too, because they just want big business to do well. That's like giving the wolf the keys to the hen house and saying, guard the hens. So we can't just let big business handle everything, because they're just going to pocket all that money. So we need a better plan, and we have a plan. We have a centrist vision for this country that will provide a furtive environment for free enterprise to grow, and will stop the greed-mongering that's going on Wall Street. We could have a show about OPEC, yeah, I suppose, man, but it's not the biggest picture to look at. We're not taking calls right now. I'm ending the show. Hello? Tony, just accept the fact that OPEC isn't the end of our story here. America's very strong, and we will be resilient. Don't just sit there and live in fear of a Middle East crisis or whatnot. Even if there was a Middle East crisis, America can pull ourselves together and continue building a strong nation. Okay, thank you so much for coming in, everyone. I do like music. I love music. It's a big part of my life. All right, thank you very much. And we're going to be playing you a little bit of truth. 9/11 is one of those things that happened in America. We don't want to just forget. And I don't believe the 9/11 Commission report. So I will open up an independent investigation of the 9/11 Commission report when I'm president. And we will get to the root of why they passed off all those explosions that clearly led to a detonation in 9/11. But more importantly, I'm going to show you who really is behind what appears to be the 9/11 attack, and I'm going to show you some videos that'll blow your mind. Apparently, Israel knew we were going to be attacked, and I'll show you a video right now that'll confirm that information. Part 1. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. We'll see you tomorrow. It's always good to talk. Fish? Maybe. And we got a lot of talk tomorrow about Fukushima, the radioactive waste that has now been identified publicly by the Vancouver Canadian government. On their shores, they're measuring radiation levels. Finally, government is coming around. Thank you. Hey, have a good one, man. Try to enjoy the night. Get some rest, everybody. Sleep is really good for you. We'll talk about OPEC whenever you call, if that's what you want to talk about. Take care. Good night.
It was widely reported that men had been celebrating the attack after a court. They were not Al-Qaeda, but they were detained.
I grabbed my binoculars and I could see the towers from my window. And this is where, I'm looking. And all of a sudden, down there, I see this